made mattresses. Built Right saves you money. Free in-store design services too. Voted best place to shop. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday. Closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty, making stories come to life.
When I called him yesterday, I said, do you have 5 minutes? He goes, well, yes and no. He said, I'm out on the water right now. I said, ooh, are you looking for another shipwreck? And he said, I am. And I said, where are you? And he said, but if I told you, then everybody would know. Others would want to know. I'm like, well, I'm not coming out to find the shipwreck right now.
Catch up anytime with our Wisconsin's Midday News podcast. Powered by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
This report sponsored by Marty's Pizza in Delafield.
Remember, Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
The best team in baseball taking on the defending champs.
And the Brewers have a date with the Dodgers. Uribe deals to Carson Kelly, swinging a bouncer to short. Ortiz has it, and the Brewers are going to the championship series.
The Brewers host the Dodgers in Game 2 of the NLCS. Our radio network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. October runs through the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 3:01. I'm Adam Roberts in for John Mercure, and this is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It is Tuesday, October 14th. Your top story, felony charges for beating a Milwaukee mother with a rock.
And I'm Toya Washington in for Julia Fellow, not expecting anything to change on day 14.
I'm Debbie Lazago. We've got southbound 41 backing up as usual from the county line all the way down to Good Hope Road. Back on the brakes from Appleton Avenue down past Hampton, almost to Capitol Drive. Northbound's backing up from Mayfair Road up to about Burleigh. And then we've got a few delays westbound 94 from about 27th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. So heads up with that. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
We're watching for some rain that's starting to move through central and western Wisconsin right now. Could be in the area this evening if you're headed out to the ballpark. Otherwise, clouds, a low of 53 tonight. Some morning rain lingering on Wednesday with a high of 60. Right now, that's where we sit at 3:02. And from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the woman who allegedly beat her Milwaukee mother to death with a rock now faces a homicide charge.
29-year-old Lauren Spores is accused of attacking her mother, 64-year-old Carrie Zettel, Sunday afternoon near 23rd and Ramsey. According to the criminal complaint, neighbors saw Spores beating her mother in the head repeatedly with a rock. Police later found Zettel dead outside her home from her injuries. Neighbors say Spores has a history of schizophrenia. Zettel was granted a restraining order against Spores in 2018 after multiple alleged instances of domestic violence. Spores violated the order 4 times and was found not competent to move forward with court proceedings each time. If convicted, Spores could spend the rest of her life in jail. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Ascension, Wisconsin reaches a new agreement with United Healthcare. The multi-year agreement is effective immediately and ensures that individuals and families with United Healthcare coverage can continue receiving care at Ascension's Wisconsin's hospital, clinics, and outpatient facilities without disruption. Now, this includes patients covered under Medicare and Medicaid plans. The two sides failed to agree on a contract renewal by an October 1st deadline. Now, any services used by patients between October 1st and 13th will be covered at in-network rates, and patients should not be billed for out-of-network costs.
It is day 14 of the government shutdown, and no solution in sight still ahead of an expected vote in the Senate this evening. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
So far, these temporary government funding measures, the numerous times they've come up on the Senate floor, have only gotten 3 Democrats to break with the bulk of Senate Democrats and vote with the majority of Republicans. We expect those 3 Democrats, again, to be the only ones. The rest of Senate Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer chief among them, are holding firm, saying that they are fighting for Americans' health care. They are in particular fighting for an extension of Obamacare tax credits.
That Senate vote tonight not expected to pass.
Closer to home, Wisconsin food share benefits could be in jeopardy if the government shutdown continues in November.
Wisconsin's SNAP and WIC programs are fully funded through October 31st. After that, over 700,000 Wisconsinites might not have access to food assistance. Now the Wisconsin Department of Health Services is asking the state legislature for $70 million to help keep the services running after funding cuts from the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill. They also need more staff as the department deals with more paperwork as a result of new work requirements to qualify for benefits. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
In Madison, both houses of the Wisconsin legislature in session today, and there was some finger pointing before things got underway. Senate Democrats criticizing Republicans for not scheduling more days on the floor. State Senator Jora Drake.
As a body, again, we have only met for floor sessions 7 times, and we are on the path to becoming one of the least active state senates in Wisconsin's history. It's irresponsible and reckless, but this is the nature of the Republican majority.
Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu with the response.
We're getting bills done in the state Senate. We're going to continue to work. We're going to meet in November. We're going to meet in January. We're going to meet in February. We're going to meet in March.
Today's session was the first time the Senate met since July, when the state budget was signed by Governor Evers.
A near majority of news outlets that cover the Pentagon have signed a statement saying they will not be agreeing to the new rules that Secretary Pete Hegseth wants to impose on journalists. The secretary spoke about the situation earlier today.
The Pentagon press corps of all press corps would be front and center across the board on wanting to give credit to the president for forging this kind of peace, and instead what they want to talk about is a policy about them.
Hegseth has threatened to evict all outlets that do not agree to the new rules from the Pentagon. As of now, the only news outlet that has signed the pledge is One America News.
Coming up, a Packers kicker kicked from the practice squad. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 306.
Hey, John Mercure here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. I know that, and I know I get it with Pella. They've worked in our house, and we trust them inherently. A lot of customers maybe have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home, but when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust Pella with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Gina Della leads an incredible team, whether it's in their showroom, which is incredible, the Experience Center in Brookfield, or whether it's when they're in your house sitting down at the kitchen table or measuring up your stuff. Pella will get it done every single time, and the attention to detail they gave us, man, unbelievable. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month. You get 0% interest for up to 5 years. 0 for 5. Visit PellaWI.com today.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
The fall home buying season is officially here, which sometimes means less competition among home buyers, but that doesn't seem to be the case this year, with most listings still getting multiple offers. Now, a lot of home shoppers just go with their bank for their pre-approval. But if you'd like to get into your new home for the holidays, now's the time to get started with a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet, or switch if you started somewhere else. Not only will we put a $2,000 guarantee behind our fully verified pre-approval, we'll also work with you and your real estate agent to craft offers that get accepted over the rest. Our favorite tool is to see if we can get an appraisal waiver for the property you're trying to buy. Sure, that takes more effort on our part, but adding those magic words, "no appraisal required," to your property-specific pre-approval can be the difference maker. And our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks for the same rate. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. It's Game 2 tonight from American Family Field. The Brewers looking for a bounce back after their comeback attempt in the 9th Monday night against the Dodgers fell just short 2-1. Crew will give the ball to Freddie Peralta. He goes up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto tonight for L.A. First pitch scheduled for 7:08. Our coverage starts right after the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. The Packers had to institute an emergency kicker plan last week against the Bengals, with kicker Brendan McManus not healthy, ready to go. signed veteran kicker Lucas Havrisik, who kicked in the game. Meanwhile, the Packers today announcing they have cut Ryan McNamee, an Irish kicker, from their practice squad. And one final preseason game for the Bucs sets coming up tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder at Fiserv Forum. Game coverage starts tonight at 7 over on 94.5 ESPN. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 309.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Healthy joints, healthy lifestyle. Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Arthritis, injuries, wear and tear, common joint issues that keep you from doing what you love. At OAW, a visit to the doctor doesn't always mean surgery. Everyone is different. Surgeons, nurses, physical therapists work together to come up with a plan for you. Maybe it's PT, medication, injection, and if you do need surgery like I did, you know you're in the best of hands. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. Book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Adam Roberts and Toya Washington.
Day 2 in the saddle with Toya alongside me. I'm Adam Roberts on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Well, welcome back in.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Well, we got a Tuesday Brewers game once again.
And you came in uniform,
yes,
which I appreciate.
So the backstory.
So I didn't look like a schlep.
Because I looked so great yesterday.
Well, you had a nice
button-down
collared shirt, and I came in with a T-shirt and, threw on a blazer and thought that was going to work. And then you dressed me up. You dressed above me.
Well, message received. We are both in full Brewers adornment, rooting on for a victory tonight, as we mentioned in sports. Game 2 coming up just after 6 o'clock right here on WTMJ.
I got to start my countdown clock so I don't mess up the time. 7:08
so
tonight.
Accurate yesterday.
Yes, we're gonna get on that today.
All right, we got a lot that we're gonna cover on the show today. Let's begin right now.
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
All right, Toya, where do we start today?
All right, we're going to start with some new information that's out on learning gaps that developed among U.S. students during the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's right, Toya. So there's new research just released today. This comes from one of these standardized testing groups, NWEA. They show that there are gaps narrowing, which is good news when it comes to students' math scores. However, it's not all positive news. A particular sticking point remains reading scores. Those have either been stagnant or in some cases have actually expanded. Now, all of this, if we're comparing, contrasting, goes back primarily to 2020. We had all our students in virtual learning. Toya, you had students in, I believe, in middle school at the time, right?
One in middle school and one in elementary school. And I will tell you that was a rough go. We'll just say that.
Both on just the scheduling and the tech side?
Well, the scheduling, because they seem to both be done with their day by like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, well, I was still working outside the home at that point, and it was tough. And I think motivating them while I'm working in home, because we were all, during the pandemic, working in unusual ways, trying to keep them motivated, educated, busy, while still trying to work from home from my outside of the house when I worked at Channel 12, trying to keep them busy was a struggle.
Believe it. There is some other good news that we mentioned those math scores, the gap is closing. They also indicate that those gaps based on race and ethnicity are also narrowing as well. Now, that's still pretty large according to this group, but there is progress being made, which is good.
Good to know.
What do we got next?
All right, teenagers on Instagram will soon be restricted to seeing PG-13 content by default.
That's right. Meta, Instagram's parent company, making that announcement today. And perhaps most importantly, Toya, and this is something that I was curious about when I saw this, the teens will not be able to change their settings in the app without a parent's permission. So that ultimately does roll back through the parental guidance. My question is, are kids and teens just not logging in with new Instagram accounts and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm 18, totally"?
I would think so, and I think this is where parents really need to lean in. And I would say I think I could make millions if I were tech savvy and could teach parents how to best monitor.
Sure. I think, you'd have a line out the door.
Exactly. And I think that's where parents need to lean into those things. Learn the apps, learn what their kids are seeing. They should have access. You're paying their phone bill. You should be able to pick up their phone and be like, there's no hidden, apps. There's no, pseudo, like pretend names. We're not logging on as someone that we're not. And being able to check all those things. That was always the rule with our kids. It's just like at any moment, we can just say, hand me your phone.
Still unclear when that rollout will officially come through, but that is in the woodworks. And what's up next?
All right, this one's breaking my heart here. A pioneer in the neo-soul wave in the 1990s has passed away.
D'Angelo's real name was Michael D'Angelo Archer, bursting into the music scene in the 1990s. His 3 albums won him 4 Grammy Awards and was nominated for 14 in all. During his career, D'Angelo collaborated with major artists including Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, and Jay-Z. RCA Records says his albums were celebrated as masterpieces by both the music community and his beloved fans around the world. The singer had been battling cancer. D'Angelo was 51. Matt Piper, CBS News.
A sad passing indeed, and I found some video of D'Angelo from his Summerfest performance. It was back in 2000, arguably around the time that he had really reached that peak, and the crowd was amazing. That's Summerfest getting an A-lister while they are an A-lister.
A-lister, mm-hmm. Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, especially as being an 80s, 90s kid. That's a tough one.
It's 3:15 on Wisconsin's afternoon news. Hey, we'll turn it around with a little bit of good news, at least on the gas price front. The holidays are coming up. That means it's time to start scribbling in. Where are we going to go? Who are we going to visit? And how are we going to get there? And there could be some good news as you head to the pump. We'll have Alex Stone from ABC explain next.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanners Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanners has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanners, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanners in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. I feel better than I ever have thanks to Connect Chiropractic. Got a little bit of a shoulder issue. The shoulder issue has gotten better. I carry my stress in my upper back. It's gone. It's Connect Chiropractic. I go every single week, and it's a long-term care focus at Connect, making you feel better so you can do the things that you want to do every single day. Play with the grandkids, play that pickleball, get out on the golf course. New location in Oak Creek, joining the existing locations in Tosa and Delafield. Go where I go. Connect Chiropractic.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
And you know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Every Wednesday at 8:45. It's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Traffic is sponsored by Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Design Exchange is where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Traffic and weather, then ABC's Alex Stone. Debbie helps get you home. How are we looking, Deb?
Well, looks like we've got a crash right now, southbound 43, right about at Keefe. It is off on the right shoulder, so watch out for any kind of delays heading through that area. Just happened, so I'm not sure it's been there long enough to cause a delay at the moment. But we do have delays, though, from Good Hope Road down past down past Bender Road. Southbound 41 also backing up just before you get to the county line to Good Hope Road. Back on the brakes from just south of Appleton Avenue to Capitol. Northbound is backing up from about Mayfair Road up to Capitol Drive. And then on westbound 94, slowing down out of the Marquette to the Mitchell Boulevard area. Eastbound's backing up right past 68th Street to Holly Road and a little bit right out of the stadium. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, going to be some showers moving through. Right now, it's kind of positioned over the Madison and Dells area, moving pretty due east. So heads up, keep an umbrella handy as you're heading out tonight. Low of 53. Morning rain possible Wednesday and 60. 64 chance of showers and storms Thursday. Then those promised 70s back Friday and Saturday. Possible rain chances Saturday, highs in the low 70s each day. Right now in Milwaukee, it is mostly cloudy and 60 degrees at 319.
Nice.
Yeah, it is nice, Alex. You got the holidays right around the corner. We got Halloween, which isn't really a travel holiday, but then Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the December holidays, and that means...
The gas guzzlers.
Yeah, you got to hit the road. We're going to be getting those AAA... 40 bajillion people expected to hit the roads this holiday.
40 bajillion.
Or whatever number they pull out of wherever. And that means you got to pay at the pump. And it looks like right now, according to our good friends over at Gas Buddy, there's a trend down in that price. Toya, you ever use the Gas Buddy app when looking for stations?
You know, I used to use the Gas Buddy app when I was driving into Milwaukee on a daily basis. And then it was like one of those things that I had to... I don't know, get rid of stuff on my phone, but I feel like I should get it back.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing now ABC's Alex Stone. Alex, you a Gas Buddy guy yourself?
Yeah, I use it every now and then, but that was a great music choice right there. Baby, you can drive my car. Yeah, this, it's looking really good right now, gas price-wise, and it's something that we haven't seen in really since the beginning of the pandemic. And not just gas prices going under $3 a gallon nationwide on average, that we've seen little blips of that here and there, but for it to be sustained for a long period of time, over several months, that we haven't seen that. So the analysts we were talking to, we talked to the folks at Gas Buddy today, that they're looking at probably until late January or into February of 2026 that gas prices will not come back up nationally on average above $3 a gallon. And this is mostly due, the consensus is, on oil prices plummeting globally. People drive less in the winter months, so demand is down when it's all supply and demand with gas. And winter blends of gasoline are less expensive, and now the refineries are pumping out the winter blends. So you put all that together and you get to where we are. And travel is still trailing off from the pent-up surge after the pandemic. We've seen that with the airlines as demand is weakening for the airlines now. As people, they wanted to get out. They needed to get out and travel. And sometimes those were big trips and they planned way ahead, and now that's beginning to wane a bit. But Patrick DeHaan, the lead petroleum analyst over at Gas Buddy, he and I chatted this morning, and he told me
OPEC is certainly the significant piece of the puzzle here. With lower oil prices, the seasonal factors are also continuing to play an active role. Americans simply don't drive as much as temperatures progressively get cooler into the fall months.
Now, he says oil prices are dropping so much, partly because of President Trump's doing, but not in a way that necessarily will be good for all aspects of the economy. But it does play a role in the prices coming down for oil, because it has to do with the economic friction with China that will have uncertain outcomes in other ways. But in the short term, it has made oil prices go way low.
So potentially, finally, President Trump's desire to see stations at $1.99 could come true in the weeks ahead. All of this as oil prices plunge below $60 a barrel, some of it having to do with concerns over a potential new trade war between the U.S. and China. Oil prices now at their lowest level since 2021.
So, guys, now it's kind of a question of how low are they going to go? And there are some areas that could see $1 and something gas in the next couple of weeks. I mean, which, as somebody who lives in California, that's mind-blowing to me.
Oh, I bet.
that it would ever get that low. He explained that one as well.
The West Coast still having some refinery issues, coupled with the highest gasoline taxes in the country and CARB-mandated gasoline. California is really one of the nation's highest price states that won't really be having much of a party at the pump. California is still $4.64 a gallon.
So there he was talking about the West Coast, but yeah, California will stay at like $4.50 a gallon, but the Gulf states, he was telling me, will be probably in the $1.80, $1.90 region. That they are close to. Oklahoma, the statewide average is at $2.09 right now, and still dropping. They think it'll be below $2. Wisconsin comes into play here, that you could be looking at some below, really low $3 gas, maybe even below the $2 mark. So it looks pretty good. But these next couple of months, it's going to be a nice time to fill up, because what goes on every year, as demand picks up in February or March and they start making the summertime gas and the supplies get in place for spring break and summer travel, that prices always come back up. So he says no doubt prices are going to swing back up again, and globally then demand is up for oil and oil prices go up, but we're going to be in this kind of slump when people don't travel as much and there's all the uncertainties going on, and that's all helping out those as we're filling up.
ABC's Alex Stone. Before we let you go, Alex, I was curious to know, as we talk about those travel impacts, right now with the government shutdown, we're seeing a lot of air traffic control towers go dark, and that means that airlines and airports particularly are having a lot of issues getting those flights around. So could that also potentially people kind of taking the pulse of things and deciding, am I going to fly? Am I going to drive? The highways are going to be there even if the runways aren't open, I would suppose.
There's always that potential, yeah. But, so many people when they're flying, they're flying a distance that they're not likely going to drive to if they're just saying, well, then I'll drive. That, it seems like that sure, there are the air traffic control problems, but I don't know if that's keeping anybody away right now. Now, if it got really bad, then no doubt it would. But it's been sporadic. It's been Boston, then it's been Chicago, then it's been L.A., then it's been Albuquerque. Yeah, it's been a day here and then a day over there. And so if it becomes a more regular thing in certain areas, then it may. But as of now, we're not seeing that.
ABC's Alex Stone. Thanks, Alex.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
It's 3:25 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Let's get you a look at the markets now. Your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. We saw big gains yesterday at the closing bell. Upwards of 2% up on the day for the NASDAQ yesterday. Not the case today. Market's a bit mixed. The Dow up about 0.5%, up 202 at 46,270. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, lost about 0.7, down 172 at 22,521. And the S&P 500 off 10 points on the day, down just about 0.1% at 6,644. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. More details at annexwealth.com. Got the bottom of the hour news coming up next. Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast, by the way, sponsored by Dave Drake Camp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition.
Something exciting is happening at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. On the second floor, you'll find the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Milwaukee's destination for bold flavors, fresh sushi, seasonal entrees, and cocktails crafted with care. Start your day with a breakfast that fuels you, stop in for dinner that sparks conversation, or linger late into the evening with drinks designed to inspire. With flavors and drinks for every mood, the Studio is the perfect place to gather, celebrate, and connect. Be boldly social. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, now on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Deb Cruz, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. Adam member new car dealers have factory warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Ryan Sternad, he's one of us.
You want to vote for a governor. You do have many to choose from who have elected experience. Or you can choose the one of us candidate. Hi, I'm Ryan Sternad, and you pronounce my last name like you are stirring a pot. In fact, I sometimes do. I'm a U.S. Army veteran who works for a living. I may have even served you at the stadium. I started drinks in the seats. Sure, I don't have elected experience, but I do have working class experience. Won't you want your governor to know what it's like to be in your shoes and to govern that way? I stick up for people who want to make money, and I was vocal in getting in-seat alcohol vending back when the crowd capacity returned to practically 100% in 2021. As governor, I'll fight to tax the wealthy. That's one of the reasons I became a Democrat 24 years ago. For more, go to RyanSternadForGovernor.com.
Paid for by Ryan Sternad for Governor.
There are over 690,000 people whose lives are touched by the Wisconsin retirement system, which covers local police, firefighters, publicly employed teachers, and UWM system employees. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ's Steve Scafidi for a special webinar. Understand your WRS potential on Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Retirement planning can be complex. What does your most recent statement mean for your plan? How will it work with the rest of your financial portfolio? Is there anything you're missing? No matter your age or retirement status, learn more as we walk through pension scenarios and answer WRS questions. The Annex Wealth Management financial planning team is experienced when it comes to the WRS pension and assists many clients as they move to and through retirement. Understand your WRS potential is Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. It's a complimentary webinar and is open to anyone. More information and registration at annexwealth.com/events. Annex Wealth Management is a fee-only fiduciary specializing in investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. Know the difference. It starts at annexwealth.com.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Want to save big on your next home improvement project? Visit extpros.com today for expert services at unbeatable prices.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 3:31. I'm Adam Roberts. Your top story already testing the strength of the ceasefire.
And I'm Toya Washington, pleading guilty to attempted murder of a governor.
I'm Debbie Laziga, 894 southbound, right about at National Avenue. We have a crash on the right shoulder, so watch out for that. Delays technically go from Lincoln down towards the Hale, so give yourself some time heading through that area. We've also got a crash on 43 southbound, right about at Keefe. That one is also off on the right shoulder. Everybody seems to be handling that one pretty well. Delays, though, as usual, from just south of Brown Deer Road all the way down past Bender Road. Back on the brakes from about Locust all the way down through the Marquette. Westbound 94 is backed up out of the Marquette to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound from just before 84th Street to Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Showers still working their way through central Wisconsin. They'll be likely in our area tonight, a low of 53. Morning rain possible then on Wednesday with a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, emotional reunions happening now in Israel after Hamas has released the last living hostages and Israel releases Palestinian prisoners. ABC's Dia Ostaz is in Gaza.
So yesterday, the Israeli authorities released over 1,900 Palestinian prisoners as a part of the first phase of the ceasefire agreement between the both conflict parties. But unfortunately, yesterday the prisoners, after they released with an extremely bad health conditions, as the doctors here in Nasser Hospital said. But most of the prisoners told me that they were shocked when they saw the huge scale of the destruction over Gaza Strip.
An Israeli military agency says it will have the number of trucks allowed to bring in humanitarian aid to Gaza. This over concerns about the slow return of the dead hostages' remains.
The U.S. strikes another small boat off the waters of Venezuela.
President Trump says 6 people were killed on the vessel, which he claims was carrying drugs. In a post on Truth Social, he says no U.S. forces were harmed. It's the 5th deadly strike in the Caribbean, as the administration has asserted it's treating alleged drug traffickers as unlawful combatants who must be met with military force. Lawmakers from both sides question the legal justification of the strikes. Some contend they violate U.S. and international law. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
The man accused of trying to murder Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro at his home in the middle of the night has entered a guilty plea. Cody Balmer also entering pleas to terrorism and arson in that firebombing attack on Shapiro's residence in Harrisburg last April.
Laura and I are mindful that serving in public office today brings with it risks. It's a sad state of the world that we are in.
Shapiro, his wife, their children, and 15 other guests were at the mansion when the attack took place. Balmer turned himself in, now facing 25 to 50 years in prison.
Closer to home, a man connected to the case of Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan pleads no contest in a separate domestic violence case.
Eduardo Flores Ruiz entered an Alfred plea and was found guilty on 1 count of battery with 2 other battery charges dropped. He was sentenced to 195 days with credit for time served. Flores Ruiz previously pleaded guilty to illegally re-entering the U.S. and is expected to remain in federal custody until he's deported. Judge Dugan is accused of obstructing federal ICE agents from arresting Flores Ruiz outside her Milwaukee courtroom back in April. Dugan heads to trial in December. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
2 people are dead in a plane crash that was en route to Kenosha Monday. We first reported this to you yesterday on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. That plane crashing onto a highway in Massachusetts and bursting into flames on impact, injuring 1 person on the ground. The dead identified as 68-year-old Thomas Perkins and 66-year-old Agatha Perkins from Rhode Island. Angel Flight of New England confirming to WTMJ the couple was on a personal family flight to Kenosha. The National Traffic Safety Board now investigating that crash.
If you have tickets to Morgan Freeman's Symphonic Blues Experience, you'll have to wait a bit longer to see it. The show originally scheduled for Pabst Theater for November 2nd, but has now been postponed until Friday, May 1st of 2026 at the Riverside Theater. All previously purchased tickets and parking passes will be honored at the new date.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers looking to rebound tonight. It's Game 2 of the NLCS. They dropped Game 1 to the Dodgers 2-1 on Monday. Manager Pat Murphy's lineup struggled mightily against ace starter Blake Snell for L.A., striking out 10 over 8 shutout innings.
He didn't go back and forth. He just went change up, and the ball was moving so much. And it was such a great pitch. He recognized it and stayed with it. He was unbelievable.
It's Freddie Peralta on the hill for the start game tonight in Game 2. Our coverage begins following the 6 o'clock news here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. And it's one final preseason tune-up for the Bucks tonight. They're at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You can hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN. The regular season begins for the Bucks 1 week from tomorrow against the Wizards. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 3:36.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
It's 3:37 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Adam Roberts along with Toya Washington here with you today. I wanted to update you on this story that we first reported on Sunday on the city of Milwaukee's south side, this near 23rd and Ramsey. So if you're picturing where this is just west of Milwaukee Mitchell Airport on the far south side of town. involving the death of 64-year-old Carrie Zettel. The original information suggested her daughter was the suspect in her mother's death, dying of blunt force trauma caused when the suspect, now identified in a criminal complaint as 29-year-old Lauren Spores, hit Zettel over the head with a stone, causing severe damage to her skull. Spores formally charged just over an hour ago, and I do have that criminal complaint as well as some information on the background between her and her daughter's relationship, Toya. So I have a search warrant I was able to obtain that takes the story all the way back to about 2018, when Zettel had filed a restraining order stating that her daughter had on multiple occasions committed acts of domestic violence. Alleged in this includes acts against her father, including smashing his head through drywall at one point. This happened on multiple occasions. The order actually expired in 2022, and each time there were violations of that order, Spores was found incompetent to stand trial. And that takes us now up to what happened or was alleged to have happened on Sunday. A neighbor telling police in the criminal complaint they saw Spores at one point was sleeping on the front yard of a home where, according to the previous order, she had been told not to go. Again,
restraining order, but it had expired at that point.
Correct.
Okay.
So she was on the lawn, according to the neighbor, the morning before this had happened. So that would have been October 11th on Saturday. Then the following day, she was seen, according to the neighbor, pacing back and forth in front of the yard. The neighbor had looked away. Then, according to a search warrant I've also obtained, Zettel herself actually made the initial police call just after 2 o'clock. And this document suggests that she indicated her daughter was behaving violently outside of the home at the time. And in the 15 minutes between when that call was made and when police arrived later, at some point, that is when Zettel was killed and was found underneath a blanket with blunt force trauma injuries to her head and a bloody rock on the ground. Spores was inside the home, and police then arrested her and again formally charged just about an hour ago and made her initial court appearance earlier today.
And also what you've discovered in this criminal complaint as well is that it sounds like the neighbor that had witnessed perhaps the pacing happening in front of the home, that that neighbor told police that Zettel's daughter, that neighbor identified Zettel as holding that rock, but again, alleged to have held that rock, alleged to have beaten her mother. But it sounds like a neighbor doing their best to try to keep alert.
And this is one of those tough instances. And Toya, you and I have covered several of these pretty gruesome criminal cases, and the complaints are always full of detail. You leave some out, you tell some. It's what's the public's right to know. It's also difficult because there are multiple instances in these reports of the daughter seemed to be suffering from mental health issues over several years. And anytime you get into that area, you get into those gray points where, okay, we got to be sensitive to this information, and a lot is going to come out. Obviously, a lot of attention on this case, given the nature of Zettel's death, as alleged in the report, but still a lot to parse through.
And also, having, as you mentioned, read several of these criminal complaints over the years, I think when we're talking about mental health issues, there's another layer of frustration because it never feels like there's enough done, that so many of these instances perhaps could be preventable, depending on how soon and how accurately someone is diagnosed and how soon they can perhaps get treatment. And since we are just a nation of backlog when it comes to helping people with mental health issues, we've read this again and again. We've seen this happen again and again. It's really sad.
Other outlets have reported, speaking with neighbors, it seems like Carrie was very well known. A lot of neighbors knowing neighbors types of situations. It was the next door neighbor who was in the complaint saying she witnessed the action taking place. And so you just think about that too, and the trauma that people who witness things like this are going to have to go through as well. And again, Spores is still in custody as of right now, made her initial court appearance this morning. If convicted of the charge of first-degree intentional homicide, she does face life in prison. It's 3:42 on WTMJ. Other big news we're following today. A stalemate finally ends in the world of healthcare. Ascension, Wisconsin and United Healthcare coming to an agreement, this after months of finger-pointing back and forth and a lot of confusion and frustration for consumers on both sides. We'll dive into the details and express some of our frustrations with the system coming up next. It's 3:43. Debbie helps get you home in just a minute.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Half a century of marketing expertise joined with over 20 years of local market knowledge. Not to mention the savings you'll see after you get our best commission right up front, which, by the way, is only 1.9% on the listing side of your home. Join that together and you can be sure that you've chosen the right real estate experts who have the experience to market your home effectively and give you a commission that'll end up paying for things like new furniture. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. They saved over $50,000 after we sold their home at only 1.9%. You don't have to pay 6% to market and sell your home. Hundreds of Century 21 Benefit Realty clients will attest. You can get it all for only 1.9%. The more value your home has, the more important it is to find the best real estate commission and the marketing ability to get top dollar. And with Century 21 behind us, that's what we have. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads, take a scenic boat tour, or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for fall fun.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Kohler Services and Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanner's Home Entertainment. Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanner's Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Traffic and weather first here with Debbie Lazaga. Seeing a lot of incidents on the map right now, Deb. What is that meaning as far as time impacts?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit backed up out there. First, well, we've got a few accidents to deal with as well. Southbound 43, we've got an accident at Keefe off on the right shoulder. Looks like a semi's involved with that one. We are seeing delays heading right past that scene, heading down towards Locust. Then we've also got a crash on 894 southbound at National Avenue off on the right shoulder. Another one heading through the Hale interchange, heading onto southbound 43, the Rock Freeway. So watch out for that. That one is off on the left shoulder, so it's in a little weird spot. Might make for a little bit more of a backup. Right now we are seeing on and off delays pretty much from the zoo all the way down into the Hale interchange. And another area of heavy traffic, though I don't see an indicator as far as an accident is concerned, but it's in a weird spot. Southbound on the Rock Freeway, pretty much just south of Moreland Road. And the delay goes for about a mile and a half to, just before you get to Racine Avenue. Heads up with that. If there is an accident there, make sure you give us a call, 414-238-9329 to the WTMJ traffic tip line. Just let me know exactly what it is that's there. I'll see if I can do some more investigation. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ forecast brought to you by Sweet Talks Med Spa. Your goals are our goals. We're watching some rain. Most of it is kind of north of roughly a line from Fond du Lac to about Mauston, La Crosse, and it's moving north, but there is a band towards the Madison area. We'll see if it holds through and gets to us. A low tonight expected down around 53. Morning rain possible then on your Wednesday, highs around 60. More of the same for your Thursday. Then Friday will dry up a bit and will warm up as well. 71 the high on your Friday, 70 on Saturday. Right now in Milwaukee, mostly cloudy, actually fully cloudy, and hanging on 60 degrees here at 348. Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Adam Roberts, Toya Washington with you on a Tuesday. And a big Tuesday if you have United Healthcare and your primary hospital, clinic, or outpatient facility is any Ascension, Wisconsin location. Seems like we were going on for months and months, Toya, of
Really
this back
did.
and forth between these two that kind of played out in the weeds, I think, initially.
Yeah.
And then as we see, once deadline day nears for a contract, this really started to come to light.
Yeah, and I think most people, when it's the topic like this, it's kind of over their head, and it's it's just kind of this bubble out there, and until the bubble bursts, like you said, until the deadline comes up, then it becomes serious, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen now?
And then we hear in the newsroom, why didn't I hear about this a month ago? And we'll say, well, we did talk about it a month ago.
Yes.
Anyway, bad grapes aside, let's dive into some of the details on this. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, United Healthcare and Ascension, Wisconsin have been embroiled in a contract negotiation. They do this every roughly 3 years or so. Just like anyone, you got to have a contract agreement, especially when you're making the kind of money that these two organizations do, billions and billions of dollars. So that multi-year agreement had expired at the end of September. And when that deadline came and went on October 1st, they didn't have an agreement. And so Ascension, Wisconsin and United Healthcare went out of network, which meant if you used UHC, which in a disclaimer, United Healthcare is our insurance provider here at Good Karma Brands and WTMJ, Ascension, Wisconsin and your primary care provider was out of network. You could still go, but you're going to be paying a lot more money.
It's a lot different.
When we say a lot more, like the difference in often cases with in-network versus out-of-network, when you go through your yearly review or during open enrollment, it's pretty significant.
It is. And it always feels like those goalposts are moving in the first place when it comes to insurance, whether it's, United or any other carrier. It always seems like it's a game, but paying very close attention to this because so much of it is very, very local for this state.
And we'll have more on those. I'll have more on those costs in just a moment. But the big news today, of course, is that agreement was reached. And so, as you heard in the 3 o'clock news earlier, that means that now everything is simpatico. We're back in network. You can go to your provider. It will be at in-network costs. And importantly, Ascension spokesperson did say over, and we had it in the story, that if you used any services during that window where there was no agreement,
the 1st and the 13th,
that will be covered at in-network rates. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, when I'm watching all of this go down, Toya, just as an aside note, I will readily admit a lot of insurance jargon goes right over my head.
It does for most, I think.
And it's it almost feels like it's designed that way to make you just kind of wave it off and like, whatever, I just want to have insurance.
Yes.
So I have a dog at home, and pet insurance and medical insurance, very different walks of life.
Yeah.
But I definitely signed up for just the first one that I saw just so that I had it and could put it on my lease and say, hey, my pet is insured. And I'm finding kind of maybe that wasn't the best choice. But for a lot of people with your personal insurance, it's often through your work provider, whatever your employer chooses to do. Like for us, it's United Healthcare. So that leads to around 200,000 patients who attend Ascension, Wisconsin services in our area, just in southeast Wisconsin. Kind of they were left in the dark for a while.
Yeah.
And as someone who has darted around with primary care providers, I moved from La Crosse to Milwaukee and had to go through the rigmarole like you do when you move anywhere. That's a headache and a half.
It is. It really is. I mean, just first of all, finding a doctor that not just in network, but one that's available. I mean, that's always been my struggle where it's like, I'll have a primary care doctor. This is just my luck, and I shouldn't even speak it into existence. But it feels like I have one for about 3 years, and then either they move out of state, and then I need to search for another doctor again. And then it's just like, okay, well, I'm getting recommendations from friends. Oh, I love this doctor. I love this. Well, they're not in network. They're on a network.
And there's also the angle of when you have children, because
that's a
you
whole
want
nother layer.
pediatricians all in that same umbrella too. So as someone who doesn't have a child yet, I can only imagine.
Yeah, that is another struggle. And then, the older they get, I mean, most people, when they have a child, their initial pediatrician, who when they're just little itty bitty squishy babies, most people, you become attached to that person, and you want, their baby's attached to that person. And so you try to keep them for years. But again, you have, we moved from Wauwatosa out to the Pewaukee area, and it was like, well, this is ridiculous. Should I be driving my kids all the way in for, a checkup, then searching again, another doctor, making sure they're in network, jumping through all those hoops.
And we saw a lot of those patients, those 200,000 I mentioned, that were having to make that choice of, do I hold out? Do I wait for all of this to blow over, which it now has? But there were a lot of other hospital orgs around the area that were mentioning, we're seeing an uptick in people trying to schedule that first intake exam.
And then you have to question what happens if you're like mid-treatment for something that, like if you had, whether it's, I don't know, treatment for cancer, and then you have...
I do think there was continuity of care that was baked into this. So if you were already receiving treatment for something like you mentioned, or for pregnancy, you were still going to get the same rates. That wasn't going to change. And I think there's actually federal laws also that play into that as well. Back onto the costs, though, because that's going to be the good question is, okay, how does the money factor in now? Because the agreement's been reached, but that does mean we're still likely going to see, if you or I or anyone who's shopping around for insurance when open enrollment comes, I believe it's November 1st when it starts for most people. So that's a couple weeks from now. I spoke when this was all going down with a professor at UW-Milwaukee. His name's Scott Adams. He's an economics professor, but he's got a background in health economics. And he told me at the time, no matter when this deal gets reached, there's a couple of things that's likely to happen.
Probably the end result of this will be a deal and higher premiums. I mean, and that's kind of where we're headed in all of these deals that we've seen in other states.
So this feels to me a lot like back in the 90s when baseball went on strike, and it was the millionaires versus billionaires, and the fans were left with no baseball. Here it's the billionaires and the billionaires, and the customer will be left with those higher premiums no matter what, it seems. The other thing, though, as I mentioned, open enrollment that Scott mentioned, is that in any of these cases, you can find some silver lining.
If there's a silver lining to any of this, if it's causing some consumers to look for better arrangements for their health care, there may be some out there for them that is perhaps more stable. My advice would be to hold tight, that these things happen frequently. They almost always work out. Probably the end result of this will be a deal and higher premiums. I mean, and that's kind of where we're headed in all of these deals that we've seen in other states.
Again, that UW-Milwaukee economics professor, Scott Adams, who I spoke with a couple of weeks ago, right on deadline day, actually, was when we talked. So he was a man in demand that day, if I recall. But again, the big news today, the Ascension UHC agreement has been reached, and so everything is back in network until we get 3 years from now, and likely we might go through all of this again.
And then don't make it 3 years from now when people are like, wait, how did we just hear about this just now? We've been telling you, now we're set an alarm on your phone 2.5 years from now.
Can you set an iPhone alarm for 2-3 years into the future?
You can set in your calendar a reminder, and then it'll pop up. So so there's your alarm. So pay attention 2 years, 2.5 years from now.
All right, all eyes on the end of 2028. It's 3:56 here on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. We got a lot more coming up for you today. Top of the hour news is straight ahead. First, your business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The village of Thiensville could see development of 80 apartments, 7,000 square feet of commercial and amenity space, and a mix of underground and surface parking. A proposal by the HIMAT Group for the project is scheduled to go before the Village Plan Commission on Tuesday. Milwaukee Repertory Theater unveils its newly renovated Associated Bank Theater Center. With $80 million in renovations and updates, the Milwaukee Rep hopes to attract high-profile productions and national tours to the city in the coming years. A Jersey Mike's Subs restaurant opens October 15th in New Berlin. The 1,700-square-foot restaurant at 3701 South Moreland Road will provide seating for 30 customers. The space was previously occupied by Bentley's Pet Stuff. I'm Linda Spice from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Business headline sponsored by the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today. Visit thepfisterhotel.com.
For over 130 years, the Pfister Hotel in downtown Milwaukee has been delighting guests with impeccable service and luxurious accommodations. Celebrate your next special occasion with a stay at this newly renovated Milwaukee icon. Enjoy fine dining at acclaimed restaurants and pamper yourself with a service from the Well Spa and Salon. Experience the hotel's afternoon tea program or take in live music with the best views of the city from Blue, the 23rd floor cocktail lounge. There's always a reason to celebrate with the Pfister Hotel. Make your reservations today at thepfisterhotel.com.
Wisconsin Harley-Davidson's filling up your fall calendar. Join them Sunday, October 19th for the Freedom 150 ride, celebrating 150 years of Economowalk and the U.S. Paralympic Wheelchair Curling Team. The ride starts at the dealership with stops at Open Road and West Bend Harley-Davidson, ending at Rally Point for a concert. And don't miss the early Halloween celebration, Saturday, October 25th at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and at WISHD.com. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
As the leaves start to turn and the air gets crisp, it's the perfect time to think about your outdoor space. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Go with the company I trust, Landworks Wisconsin. From stunning fall displays and holiday decorating to dormant pruning and bed cleanups, they're doing that for me. Landworks has you covered. The beauty of fall is all around us, and your garden and yard should be no exception. Enhance your outdoor space with professional services from Landworks. Make your home the envy of the neighborhood. Find your outdoor inspiration at landworkswisconsin.com, landworkswisconsin.com.
4 years ago, I opened a doggy dream space unlike anything in Wisconsin. A place that offers it all: daycare, boarding, grooming, and a one-of-a-kind indoor-outdoor dog park and tavern. A hangout as fun for humans as it is for hounds. I'm Leah, proud owner of the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. Our love, passion, and commitment to dogs and the community are at the core of everything we do. From our incredible staff to top-tier services, we've built something truly special at the Hounds and Tap. Come see for yourself. Visit the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls today.
You ever hear a deal so good you think, what's the catch?
Yes, when I got a free gym membership, and the catch was I still had to go.
Well, right now, Capital is offering great financing, no catch.
No selling a kidney?
Nope, just easy financing and honest service during Capital Credit Days. Now through October 31st, air conditioners start as low as $65 a month, furnaces only $59 a month, or a complete system only $117 a month.
Capital, where you choose cool or cozy with no catch financing.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Planning for 2026 starts now. A new deck from Outdoor Living Unlimited is built to last. We are Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to our Outdoor Living Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools to help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
The best team in baseball taking on the defending champs.
And the Brewers have a date with the Dodgers. Uribe deals to Carson Kelly, swinging a bouncer to short. Ortiz has it, and the Brewers are going to the championship series.
The Brewers host the Dodgers in Game 2 of the NLCS. Our radio network game day cover starts tonight at 6:30. October runs through the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 4:01. I'm Adam Roberts. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It's Tuesday, October 14th. Your top story, another measure to curb reckless driving in Milwaukee.
And I'm Toya Washington in for Julia Fellow. You might not hear this message at the airport.
I'm Debbie Lazago. We've got southbound 41 backing up from Appleton Avenue all the way down to about Capitol Drive. And more delays then past the Zoo interchange from Greenfield Avenue down into the Hale. Part of that problem, we got a couple of accidents. One at National, the other one into the Hale interchange. So give yourself extra time. Then we've also got another accident on southbound 43 at Keefe off on the right shoulder. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Watching some showers in central Wisconsin moving through. They could reach our area later tonight. Low of 53. Morning rain and then clouds on your Wednesday with a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center in Madison, a new law moving forward that would curb reckless driving in Milwaukee and throughout Wisconsin. State legislature approving separate Senate and Assembly measures earlier today that will allow police to impound any vehicles used in reckless driving offenses, regardless of who owns the car. The owner will then have 90 days to pay any fines and pick up the vehicle before it would be destroyed. Police would also make an attempt to contact the vehicle's owner if it turns out to either be lost or stolen. The legislation had strong bipartisan support and now heads to Governor Evers' desk for approval.
Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin has paused abortion services due to the Big Beautiful Bill. OBGYN and former congressional candidate Dr. Kirsten Lyerly tells WTMJ's Point Taken.
Planned Parenthood has decided to pause abortion care in the 3 clinics where they offered abortion services, Sheboygan, Madison, and Milwaukee. And that's because the Trump administration had put into the Big Beautiful Bill this provision that was intentionally planned to defund Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood only provides about 4% of their services are abortion services.
Wisconsin state law currently permits abortions up to 20 weeks.
Multiple airports across the country are denying a request from the Department of Homeland Security to play a video blaming Democrats for the ongoing government shutdown.
The Department of Homeland Security video began airing at airports last Thursday.
Hi, I'm Christine Ohm, the United
But some airports are refusing to play it, saying the partisan message goes against their policies as well as state or federal regulations.
Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. And because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are working without pay.
From Portland to Seattle, Chicago O'Hare to all of New York City's major airports, the video won't be seen.
Our hope is that Democrats will soon
Matt Piper, CBS News.
Top prosecutors from 22 states, including Wisconsin, are condemning the Trump administration's prosecution of New York Attorney General Letitia James.
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul and other AGs releasing a statement saying President Trump has repeatedly broadcast his desire to arrest and prosecute James after cases were brought up against him in New York. James was indicted for bank fraud, the charges stemming from her mortgage documents in Virginia. James has called the charges baseless. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
President Trump reminding Hamas to follow through on part 2 of a ceasefire deal reached earlier this week.
President Trump issuing a stark warning to Hamas, telling me at the White House Tuesday.
And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently.
The president said Hamas knows he is, quote, not playing games. I asked what deadline he would put on the group before taking action. He said, quote, a reasonable period of time. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Coming up, Bucks and Brewers both in action tonight in Brew City. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:05.
The Wisconsin retirement system impacts over 690,000 people, including police, firefighters, teachers, and UW employees. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ's Steve Scafidi for a free webinar. Understand your WRS potential on Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Learn how your WRS pension fits into your financial portfolio and planning. The Annex Financial Planning team is experienced with WRS pensions and holistic financial planning. Register at annexwealth.com/events. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to skills trainer Clint Parks. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Time now for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers and the Dodgers back in action tonight, just a few hours away from American Family Field, just over 3 hours from first pitch at the ballpark tonight. This follows the 2-1 Brewers loss to the Dodgers after a crazy ninth inning that ended when Bryce Terang struck out on a high fastball. Earlier in the at-bat, Terang did almost get hit by a pitch. Some said he should have taken it on the chin. He said it was just a natural reaction.
Is it human nature to think like, oh man?
Well, if you see me looking in the dugout and I'm like thinking like damn, like I know it, like everybody knows it. I couldn't tell you why I did it. I just got out of the way. That's just how it is.
On the bump tonight for the Crew, Freddie Peralta, the ace, goes up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. First pitch, 7:08. Our coverage starts after the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. The Packers releasing Irish kicker Mark McNamee from the practice squad. That means Lucas Havrisik is the Packers' number 2 kicker moving forward as Brandon McManus continues recovery from injury. And the Bucs have one final preseason game. It's tonight at Fiserv against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That game gets underway at 7 over on 94.5 ESPN. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, coming up on 409.
This report is brought to you by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors. This is Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, and let me say that again. Siding Unlimited installs Pella windows and doors, and we install windows and doors really well. Our team of fine craftsmen show up, lay down drop cloths, remove the old, and install your new beautiful windows, and then clean up behind ourselves so you're left with brand new Pella replacement windows installed by Siding Unlimited and a great experience. Our team from sales to office to install will take you through the process the right way, the Siding Unlimited way, that has earned us the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. If you're getting estimates for windows and doors this fall, be sure to call Siding Unlimited because you can only get Siding Unlimited's professional craftsmen for Pella windows and doors by calling Siding Unlimited. For siding, roofing, windows, and doors, let Milwaukee's National Contractor of the Year, Siding Unlimited, give you a free estimate and start the process. Go to sidingunlimited.com.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Adam Roberts and Toya Washington.
It is hour 2 of Wisconsin's Afternoon News. That's right, big voice guy Adam Roberts, Toya Washington with you on this Tuesday. We got Isaac in the production studio and Tiff Poo, our news director, working over in the newsroom handling that today. Got a lot we're going to get through on this hour, including our Milwaukee Health Briefing with Dr. Allison Ebert stepping in for Dr. John Raymond today. We've got our Green and Gold Insiders coming up with Jason Wilde.
So excited. Excited.
Some interesting articles he's written for Channel 3000 I want to dig into with him when he comes up. But first, I would want to remind everyone about an event coming up this Saturday at Greenfield Park involving one of our own here at WTMJ. This coming weekend is the annual Breakthrough T1D Walk. Hundreds expected to come out to the park, raising money for type 1 diabetes research. And here at WTMJ, Eric Bilstad, who has type 1 diabetes himself, has a story of a teenager from Brookfield living and thriving with T1D.
I play tennis a lot. That's something I've been into. I play for my school team as well.
Meet Yuvraj. Typical 15-year-old boy from Brookfield. He's got his friends. He's interested in finance.
I hope to pursue a job like that in the future too. So
he looks healthy enough when you meet him.
So I actually have to go play tennis after this. So when I'm done, I'm gonna have to check my blood sugar, eat something to make sure my blood sugar's high, and then even while I'm playing, I'm gonna have to check every 20-30 minutes to make sure I'm not too low or not too high. And
you see, Yuvraj has type 1 diabetes, otherwise known as T1D.
I have a direct. Oh, there you go.
No,
yep, I know that sound. Yep, so I know exactly that sound. Yep, been there.
So T1D has similarities to type 2 diabetes, but they are dramatically different. T1D, typically diagnosed in children, but not always, is an autoimmune disease. Your pancreas stops producing necessary insulin to control your body's blood sugar. A blood sugar too high can cause catastrophic damage to your body. A blood sugar too low can mean falling unconscious, suffering a seizure, or even worse.
That's probably the worst thing you can be subjected to see your child suffer. It was very painful.
Tejwan Singh is Yuvraj's father. Yuvraj was first diagnosed back in 2019. It was unexpected for Tejwan, a cardiologist by trade, knew all too well.
I've taken care of a lot of type 1 diabetics myself, and that was it's a double-edged sword. All of a sudden I could see how bad and nasty this disease can be if not well managed.
So the family had to learn together. Mom and Dad had to figure out how to teach their son this new normal.
When they said, yeah, well, you have T1D, what was your reaction?
Honestly, I think I was a little confused when I first got it, but the only thing I understood was that my life was going to be completely different. I didn't realize that I would have to take a shot for every single thing, so that was a little hard to adjust.
I've had sleepless nights for years.
Constantly checking a blood sugar means long, exhausting days and nights.
Getting up in the middle of the night, giving him, sugar is too high, give him insulin, and then all of a sudden I dosed it, a little more, then I could not sleep for the next hour and a half to make sure what is going to dip too low. Your child's life is at risk, how can you sleep?
There is hope. The medical devices used to treat T1D are getting more advanced all the time.
Technology is improving. It's not perfect yet. We have, ways to go.
The tech is improving by a lot, thanks to Breakthrough T1D, which raises money for research, finding new ways to live with, hopefully prevent or even stop type 1 diabetes.
I got my insulin pump. It's easy. I can just pull out my phone and just put a number in and it'll give me the insulin. So that's really useful.
As for Yuvraj, he's doing great. He was even able to travel to Washington, D.C. to push for more Breakthrough T1D initiatives.
I got to share my experiences with our senators. And honestly, it was one of the most life-changing experiences I think I've ever done because it made me realize I'm here to do something good. And there were 150 kids in total, and seeing all those kids from different states, it just made me realize that there are so many people out there like me.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Eric's a man of many strengths. He'll be emceeing the event coming up again this Saturday at Greenfield Park. Yuvraj's team, by the way, already raising nearly $20,000. If you want to learn more, you can text WALK, W-A-L-K, WALK, the Siding Unlimited talk and text line, 855-616-1620, and we'll send you all the information. Coming up on 4:15 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News, time to check in with our Green and Gold Insiders. That's coming up next after Debbie gets you home.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at wipga.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
From those with no experience to firearms enthusiasts, all are welcome at Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. The staff is deeply committed to providing a welcoming and engaging environment for everyone at every level. Learn the right way to handle firearms, level up your skills, and experience replica firearms from different historical eras while learning about their role in protecting our freedoms throughout history. Visit veteran-owned and managed Mission 94 in Kenosha today. Check out the 5-star reviews. Just Google Mission 94.
Homer for Window Nation. It's October, and if you've got old windows, that means you're back to dealing with chilly air seeping into your home. Eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with Window Nation in Milwaukee. This month, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. With the holidays coming up, it's a big deal, and they can do it so quickly. Don't miss out on free windows and 0 payments for 2 years with Window Nation, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment, Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanders Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanders, just press play.
Traffic and weather, let's get it over to Debbie Lazaga. The countdown is on, Deb, until first pitch. How are we looking on the freeway?
Well, westbound 94 is backing up from just before 27th Street through to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, we got some backups from just before 84th Street. to about 70th, and then back on the brakes right through the stadium interchange to 35th. We do still have this accident on 43 southbound at about Keefe off on the right shoulder. Delays coming in from Capitol Drive down past that point all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound, we are seeing delays basically from Kilbourne all the way up to North Avenue. And then on the bypass, couple of accidents still causing some issues. One on 894 southbound at National, off on the right shoulder, delays coming out of the zoo with that one. And then another one heading into the Hale interchange off on the left shoulder. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ forecast brought to you by Sweet Talks Med Spa. Self-love starts at Sweet Talks. We are watching. If you have tailgate plans, right now you're dry. There is a little bit of rain on the far southern edge of this much bigger blob that's over northern Wisconsin and parts of Minnesota. Might trickle into our area this evening. Should be okay if you have plans in the parking lot. Just maybe have the umbrella or the jacket just in case. Low tonight down to 53. 60 your high on Wednesday. That rain could linger into the morning. 61 Thursday. 67 on Friday. Back up into the 70s by Saturday. Right now clouds and 60 in Milwaukee at 419.
From sidelines to the locker room.
This is unlike anything else that's ever happened in franchise history. Now, I know what I'm saying when I say that.
And everything in between.
How many times are you going to come to my press conference late? We got a rule in the team meeting. You don't interrupt the meeting. Sit your butt outside.
No one covers the team like Jason Wilde.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, but I don't do enough politics.
It's time to get caught up on the green and gold on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
One half of the dynamic Wilde and Tausch duo on ESPN Wisconsin and author on Channel 3000. He is Jason Wilde, and he's our green and gold insider on a Tuesday. Jason, how are we feeling?
Adam, I'm going to do my best Debbie Lazaga. I just want to let you know the 43 South between Green Bay and Manitowoc, clear sailing. So you're all good if that's how far you're getting.
Yeah, who'd have thunk?
Thank you, sir.
You got to thank you from Debbie, and I appreciate that because once you get south of Capitol, yeah, it is an absolute mess.
Different show there.
Green and Gold Insiders, by the way, sponsored by our friends at Window Nation. Hey, Jason, I want to set you up with this because I love reading the stuff you put up on channel3000.com. You have an article about our man, Josh Jacobs, who had himself a day against the Bengals. And in the article you wrote, I'll set it up in just a minute, but you include this clip.
Hey, how many yards tonight? It's looking like 120, 2 touchdowns.
Well, little did I, and I think most of us realized that he was out there
he
balling,
was truly gutting it out. That's the new next level gutting it out.
Isn't that right, Jason?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, thank you for reading. Second of all,
thank you for reading.
I'm a little troubled because I went to look up how old Josh Jacobs was for the Michael Jordan flu game in the 1997 NBA Finals, only to discover that he hadn't been born yet, which was a tough blow for me, considering I was on my second year covering the team at that point. But look, he was, and he joked about it after the game. He said, I was mic'd up for this game. I'm wondering if they have any of the footage of me throwing up before, during, and after the game. And if they did, they didn't air it. So thank you to NFL Films for saving us from that. But look, they have been trying to get him going all season. They really got something in the second half of the Dallas game before the bye. He averaged 5 yards a carry in the second half of that game. And then obviously 150 total yards from scrimmage on Sunday against the Bengals. He is such a key piece of what they want to do offensively. He is the engine that makes that offense go. So that was a big deal on Sunday to get him that involved.
It's interesting you mentioned that he was mic'd up. I didn't obviously see any of the vomiting footage, but I did hear a lot of like an insane man who loves to get in there in between the tackles and hit a linebacker or two. He's just got to be, as we now look on the second third of the season coming up here, as we kind of iron out what the receiving core looks like, Josh Jacobs does seem like a constant we can rely on.
No doubt, Adam. And look, he's one of my favorite guys on this team to interact with. We have a really good working relationship. During the offseason, there was this statistic that I was so excited to use in a story. So last season, when Saquon Barkley went over 2,000 yards for the season, he had 1,328 of those before contact. So he had not been touched. And Josh Jacobs had one more yard total, and more than 60% of his yardage came when he'd already been hit. And I started to give that statistic to Josh, and he finished it for me. He was well aware of that. And so while he certainly prides himself on those, running guys over, running through guys, he even said it would be nice to get that percentage down a little bit. And I think that's been the goal this season. They have not reached that goal. He has taken a lot of hits, and they need to get him farther downfield. Last Sunday was the first time he really got some good blocking to run behind.
Jason, before we let you go here, we had a move made today. The Packers releasing Ryan McNamee from the practice squad. Obviously, the kicking game is a little bit in flux still with McManus going through what he was last week. We had Lucas Havrasik brought in, handled his business just fine. How's the McManus looking right now as we get ready for the Cardinals next Sunday?
Yeah, the big test will be tomorrow. They usually kick on Wednesdays and Fridays. He felt the pain in his leg on Wednesday last week. He stopped kicking. He did not kick the rest of the week. And he talked like he expected to kick on Sunday, said he'd been through the same thing in 2022 when he was a member of the Broncos. And Matt LaFleur basically said, look, we're not taking any chances. So Havrasik came in and was really, really good. He was getting ready to go back to his part-time job as a substitute teacher in the Cleveland area, and he got the call from the Packers. So he got to kick 5 times, made all of his kicks. McNamee is a great kid from Ireland, but he was not ready to kick in a game. He was basically, having an opportunity in America to learn football the American style. I'm sure he'll catch on with another team because those guys don't count against your roster. But right now they're carrying 2 kickers, and they're going to have to for at least another week just to be smart in case, McManus isn't quite ready.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question because we had talked about this yesterday. Tausch kind of summarized Sunday's game as meh. I guess now I'm getting a little more insight about what went down in the game. Would you still think that Tausch would call it meh?
First of all, I would never disagree with Tausch because I love him dearly, and my life is a lot easier if I agree with him. But I would say yes, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm not the most opinionated cat, as you guys both know. But I would say this. They did what they needed to do. I mean, let's not forget that this team had gone a month without winning. They lost a game, tied a game, and then had a bye week. And so, yeah, was it aesthetically pleasing? No. Did their defense struggle in the second half for the second straight game? Yes. But they still won the game, and they did what they were supposed to do. And if you look across the league, there are so many games, including one last night. Like Washington is not supposed to lose to the Bears at home, but they did. And so I think there's something to be said for taking care of business, and they definitely did that, even if the big fella found it to be a meh performance.
There's nothing meh about Jason's coverage or his performance on Wilde and Tausch every day on ESPN Wisconsin and writing on channel3000.com. Jason, thanks so much.
Of course, everybody. Take care. Be good.
You too.
It's 426 on WTMJ. Quick check of the markets here. Your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag for the big 3 today. The Dow up about 0.5%, up 202 at 46,270, while the NASDAQ was up over 2% yesterday. Not the case today. Down about 173 points, 22,522 finishing the day at. The S&P 500 off 10 for the day at 6,644. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Don't forget to check out the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast wherever you get your podcast. It's sponsored by Dave Trey Camp Heating, where your comfort is their family's tradition.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for fall fun.
When it comes to your career, you have an advantage. Well, It's time to take advantage. The LAK Group offers career coaching so you can identify and amplify your unique skill set to give your career a bump or get in sync with your organization. From resume critiques to job offer negotiation to personal branding, career coaching from LAK gets you on the right path. Learn more at transformingcareers.com. LAK. Discover your human advantage.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Griffin's Hub. Let me tell you about this great tire special at Griffin's Hub. At the Hub, for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires, free tire repair, lifetime tire rotation, cannot be combined with any other tire offers. Tires must be mounted, balanced, and installed at Griffin's Hub. See Service Advisor for details. It is a great deal on tires. The two best vehicles I've ever purchased, I bought at Griffin. The Ford Explorer that I love and I'm still driving, and my wife's Blazer, which is absolutely fantastic. This October is the time to do it. Griffin's Hub has a spooky selection of over 190 new pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Check them out before they, disappear. Your compass points south to South 27th to Griffin's Hub right there on South 27th Street when you're looking for a new 2025 Jeep Compass. They've got great service. They've got great selection. Fall in love with adventure this autumn and America's legend, the Jeep Wrangler. It's Griffin Hub. Check them out today. They'll treat you like your family.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. It's kindness, it's compassion, it's very specialized training. Their mission is to transform the culture of care, and they're doing that every single day. I've been in their places. I've seen how they love and take care of people with cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, or other related dementia symptoms. In part at Azura, they do such a great job because their staff goes through specialized training. They're going to take great care of you. Locations throughout southeast Wisconsin, Wisconsin-based, family-owned. It's Azura.
Your neighbors are talking. Did you see their siding? Yikes. That drafty window? It's basically air conditioning. From nature. Don't be the scary house on the block this fall. Call Exterior Pros and Baths and get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project. No tricks, just treats. That's 262-800-4274 or click your way to extpros.com. Fall in love with your home again. Trust the pros.
You gotta get to Built Right today. Vince Vitrano here to tell you about Built Right's 97th anniversary mattress celebration. The one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop and easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national or local chain store, department store, online retailer, warehouse club, or employee-free store because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Built Right also has the best value, selection, and experienced team in Wisconsin. Over 60 models all on display. 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands made in the USA. Heirloom, Gold Bond, Therapeutic, Restonic, and Schiffman. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses. They can hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $7.99 or more. Built Right saves you money. Voted best place to shop. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
Just after 4:30, I'm Adam Roberts. Your top story: charged with killing her mother with a rock.
And I'm Toya Washington. They still don't have the votes.
I'm Debbie Lazago. We do still have delays on the bypass heading southbound out of the Zoo Interchange all the way down past an accident at at National Avenue off on the right shoulder there, and another one heading into the Hale Interchange on the left shoulder. So those delays are just big pain. Eastbound 94, we do have delays from Highway 100 through the Zoo Interchange all the way to about Hawley Road. More delays coming out of the Stadium Interchange towards 35th. Westbound heavy out of the Marquette, stretching all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43, we do have delays coming in from just before Good Hope Road down to Bender, and then back on the brakes from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette to the KK River Crossing. Northbound slowing down from the Marquette all the way up past North Avenue. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
If your path down to the Brewer game tonight is I-39 through Madison, you're running into some rain right now. In our area, it's staying dry, but that rain could move through later. A low of 53, showers Wednesday, and a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a woman who allegedly beat her mother to death with a rock now faces a homicide charge.
29-year-old Lauren Spores is accused of attacking her mother, 64-year-old Carrie Zettel, Sunday afternoon near 23rd and Ramsey. According to the criminal complaint, neighbors saw Spores beating her mother in the head repeatedly with a rock. Police later found Zettel dead outside her home from her injuries. Neighbors say Spores has a history of schizophrenia. Zettel was granted a restraining order against Spores in 2018 after multiple alleged instances of domestic violence. Spores violated the order 4 times and was found not competent to move forward with court proceedings each time. If convicted, Spores could spend the rest of her life in jail. Elizabeth Lintonen, WTMJ News.
Hamas released the bodies of 4 more Israeli hostages held in Gaza. Now, this comes as President Trump urges Hamas to hand over all of the remaining bodies. CBS's Linda Grandstein reports from Jerusalem.
Israel said that 2 of the bodies returned on Monday were 53-year-old Yossi Sharabi, whose brother Eli was released alive a few months ago, and a 22-year-old Israeli army officer, Daniel Peretz. Earlier, Israel said that one of the other bodies was a Nepali national. Israel limited the amount of aid allowed into Gaza to protest the fact that Hamas has not returned all of the bodies as called for in the ceasefire agreement. Hamas says it has not been able to locate all of the bodies.
So far, Hamas has released all of the remaining living hostages, while Israel released more than 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
No solution in sight to a government shutdown that's stretching into its second week. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The government has been shut down for 2 weeks now. Federal employees got their last paycheck with any kind of money in it last week. Any further paychecks will not come unless the government is reopened. And remember, there are about 750,000 furloughed federal workers. They're told not to show up to work. And then there are other federal workers that are deemed essential, TSA agents, air traffic controllers, et cetera, that are being told to show up to work but not being paid.
The Senate is expected to vote again tonight. However, that vote is likely to fail.
Back home, both houses of the Wisconsin legislature were in session today with some finger pointing before things got underway. Senate Democrats criticizing Republicans for not scheduling more days on the floor. State Senator Dora Drake.
As a body, again, we have only met for floor sessions 7 times, and we are on the path to becoming one of the least active state senates in Wisconsin's history. It's irresponsible and reckless, but this is the nature of the Republican majority.
Senate Majority Leader Devin Mellahue responds.
We're getting bills done in the state Senate. We're going to continue to work. We're going to meet in November. We're going to meet in January. We're going to meet in February. We're going to meet in March.
Today's session was the first time the Senate met since July when the state budget was signed.
Milwaukee with a new leader now. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson appointing Benjamin Tim as municipal port director for the city. Tim spent the past nearly 25 years working at Department of City Development. Former Port Director Jackie Q. Carter has received a promotion to lead the city's Department of Employee Relations. The Common Council will approve Tim's appointment in the next few weeks. Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. It's almost time for Game 2, just a few hours till first pitch from American Family Field. Brewers in a 1-0 series hole in the NLCS against the LA Dodgers. It'll be Freddie Peralta against Yoshinobu Yamamoto tonight for LA. Our coverage begins following the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:37.
Time to get your furnace ready to work this winter. Vince Vitrano here with my HVAC guy, Ryan Sopa at Urban Heating and Cooling. Ryan, you're doing furnace tune-ups now.
Correct. We're starting to do furnace maintenance, making sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming cold weather.
You do all that for less than $100. You can save big, though, if you spend that money up front, right? Make sure this thing is good.
Correct. I mean, if we come in there and do a maintenance on your furnace, so it can help prevent major breakdowns for the next season.
Thanks, Ryan. Contact them now at urbanheatingandcooling.com. urbanheatingandcooling.com.
Pitch by pitch, inning by inning, game by game. Watching the Crew is a 162-game journey of grit, hard work, talent, and determination. Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management, we're with you on your journey as well. Your hard work and money deserve a partner like Annex for your investment, retirement, tax, estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. Take the next step towards retirement you desire and begin the conversation soon. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
4:38 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Adam Roberts and Toya Washington with you until 6 o'clock. Then it's into Brewers baseball coverage here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. Been a busy stretch here in the city of Milwaukee, Toya. We've had a lot of big concerts come through. This past weekend, we had Mumford & Sons at Fiserv Forum. Jonas Brothers then were the day after that. You know, it's been so long since I've been to an arena show. Like, I go to Summerfest all the time.
Yeah.
And outdoor events or things that like the Riverside or the Miller High Life or the Paps. But like going to a show in like a basketball arena or at a football field, I can't tell you the last time that I went to one of those. And it's interesting I bring this up because I got a little bit of concert sticker shock yesterday before you came in for the show. So I was getting ready for the show and our producer Isaac came into one of our prod studios where I was working and he mentioned, oh, by the way, my dad and I just got tickets to the Rush concert at the United Center coming up next month. So for those who don't know, my favorite band of all time is Rush. Their drummer passed away, Neil Peart, about 5 years ago, and the band was like, we're done. They had actually finished before then, but that seemed to be like, that's it. We're not going to be going again. Well, not so fast. Getty and Alex have announced recently they're going back on tour with a new drummer who is going to be filling in, and that show is going to be rolling through Chicago. 4 shows at the United Center. So I went in and did what I needed to do because I've never seen them live. They're my favorite band of all time.
And you've never seen them live?
I've never seen them live. It just never really worked out to go. Because we grew up in Fond du Lac and the drive down to Chicago. That's
a beast.
It's a way to go. So I was like, okay, I got to get in on the pre-sale. And so Isaac comes in and he mentions to me he got the tickets. I go, oh, shoot, I forgot about the pre-sale that started at noon. So I'm going in, I'm joggling in, and what I saw as far as minimum ticket prices literally shocked me. Because I got a shock because I rubbed my feet on the carpet and got a shock. And then I was agape. Seeing some of these prices, we're talking the nosebleeds. If you've never been to the United Center, we were there for the Democratic National Convention last year.
It's not a small arena.
It is not. And those seats go way up. Think Old Bradley Center, where some of those seats were going way up there. And minimum price, why don't you to take one guess, Toya, for one seat, what the minimum price I saw was?
Oh, 85.
Higher.
185.
Higher.
210.
$325 for the worst nosebleed seats at this show.
I'm sorry, say that again.
$325, and that's pre-sale prices. So there will be a general sale, but it's basically going to be the scraps of like everyone's going to be hounding for what little is left over.
Wow.
Now, Isaac, you were telling me earlier that you and your dad copped these tickets. Is that roughly in the neighborhood?
Roughly, yeah. And we are in, the back of the back, basically.
So it was just a real eye-opener for me. And I think
so wait a minute, let me get this straight. So if you do the pre-sale, do you feel like there might be like an added fee because you got to do it early, or do you think that once it's open to the general sale, do you think those same seats are going to be that much?
It's a good question because I haven't done any like a big concert in an arena in a while, and it is through Ticketmaster. So we all know Ticketmaster loves to put those fees.
Yes.
And I did see when I was going to originally check out, I threw my hands up. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot drop because I was going to get 2 tickets. No one should go to a concert alone. Was going to get 2. That's $700 after the fees. I just couldn't do it. Now, what it looks like for the actual sale, I'm not sure. I'll check in again just to see if it's any better, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
So, okay, it was $300 before the fees. You're saying grand total
would have been
all in
$700 plus.
Yikes!
And then, of course, because you got to go down to Chicago still, those good old toll roads are going to get you, and then parking.
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Yep. gas parking tolls, you're in
See,
for
now
at
that's
least
why
another
I'm a
100.
train guy, and so I'll take the Hiawatha down like I did for the Brewers-Cubs game, Game 3. Great experience, but that was also the Brewers Express where they were handing out free brats to everybody. So that definitely made the ride a little bit
So the
better.
meal was free.
Correct.
It's a winning combination.
A free
there.
brat breakfast.
All
So
right.
anyway, that was on my mind because I hadn't done a big show like that in a while, and I was, is that normal? If anyone out there has any experience recently with those big arena shows and that's par for the course, let us know. 855-616-1620 on the text line, because I'd love to feel validated in being like, that just seems a little crazy. Love the band, always will. I'll stick to the YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's 4:43 on WTMJ. Debbie helps get you home next, and then it's our Milwaukee Health Briefing after that.
Hey, John Mercure here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week. Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drake Camp Heating for free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort. Call Dave Drake Camp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drake Camp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakeCamp.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10.23 to 11.5 ounce selected varieties Mars Fun Size Candy, $4.49. 8.1 to 11.5 ounce selected varieties Bear Creek Soup Mix, $3.49. 128 ounce pale selected varieties Blue Ribbon Frozen Dairy Dessert, $5.99. 64 ounce selected varieties Sunny D Citrus Drinks, 2 for $3.
I am starving.
Oh, no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, wow, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
The best team in baseball taking on the defending champs.
And the Brewers have a date with the Dodgers. Uribe deals to Carson Kelly, swinging a bouncer to short. Ortiz has it, and the Brewers are going to the championship series.
The Brewers host the Dodgers in Game 2 of the NLCS. Our radio network game day cover starts tonight at 6:30. October runs through the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment. Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanders Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanders, just press play.
Traffic, then a look at the forecast, and then our Milwaukee Health Briefing. Debbie helps get you home. How are we looking, Deb?
Slowing down on 41 southbound from just before the county line to Good Hope Road, and then back on the brakes from Appleton Avenue all the way down to Capitol Drive. On the northbound side, we got delays from just before Mayfair Road, pretty much all the way up past Capitol. More delays on the bypass heading southbound from the Zoo Interchange all the way down to National Avenue. There is an accident still being worked on there, so just be careful right about at National. Eastbound 94, we've got some backups from just before Highway 16. It's going to be slow all the way past almost to Springdale Road. We do have an accident right at Highway 16 off on the right shoulder. More delays as you're making your way past Barker Road, and then again from Highway 100 all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. Westbound 94, we got backups out of the Marquette pretty much to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast, monitoring the rain continuing to move through. Right now, kind of approaching the northwest part of our listening area, Fond du Lac, Dodge counties. Just a little bit trying to hang through and make its way through Dane right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. It should be a dry tailgate before opening and first pitch at 7-ish. But right now we do have rain in the forecast with a low down to 53 tonight. Some morning showers possible Wednesday, a high of 60, 61 on Thursday, and clouds. Friday near 70. Saturday we should eclipse that, a high of 71 degrees. We've actually dropped a couple degrees. It's 59 right now in Milwaukee at 448. Wisconsin's Afternoon News, Adam Roberts and Toya Washington with you. It's time for our Milwaukee Health Briefing. We do every Tuesday, and joining us this week is Dr. Allison Ebert, professor of cell biology, neurobiology, and anatomy, as well as the director of the Neuroscience Research Center at the Medical College of Wisconsin. Dr. Ebert, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So as I set you up there a bit, you do specialize in basic science research, but as you, I'm sure, will tell, there's nothing basic about what you're doing at the medical college. So tell us a bit about some of the research you've done and how it's advancing what we know about neurological diseases. Think Alzheimer's or maybe ALS.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So basic science, what we mean by that is truly the foundational science, so understanding what's happening at a cellular or molecular level. So really getting into the nitty-gritty of understanding how cells communicate with each other, or maybe how they miscommunicate with each other, that could potentially then lead to disease processes. And so if we think about a disease like Alzheimer's disease, for example, where the outward signs of the disease are losing memory or cognitive changes. Well, what we look at the foundational basic science level is what's happening at the cellular level that would be the signaling or the molecules or the pathways that get disrupted that would then lead to that neuronal loss that's occurring within Alzheimer's disease or any other neurodegenerative disease that could then be causing that overarching cognitive decline that you would see in an individual with Alzheimer's disease. So some of the research that I do is in trying to understand why neurons are dying in diseases and really how can we try to intervene and prevent that neural damage.
All right, and you made reference to this. It sounds like you're working to uncover how diseases occur at that molecular level. I guess, can you explain to me how mysterious is something like ALS when you investigate it at that level?
Yeah, that's a great question. So ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and most people have probably heard of Lou Gehrig's disease since we were just, all excited about Brewers baseball. So Lou Gehrig, obviously a famous baseball player. So what happens in ALS is there are nerve cells that are found within the brain and the spinal cord that really drive movement. And in ALS, those nerve cells that then connect out to the muscles to tell your muscles to move or swallow or breathe, those nerve cells are the ones that are dying. And so the mysterious part of ALS is that we know that there are some genes within our genetic code that can be truly associated with getting ALS, but the vast majority of patients that end up having ALS, we really don't know. There's no genetic link that we know of. And so we're trying to look at this cellular and molecular level to understand and try to untangle those mysteries. So there are certain kind of pathways that we look at. So if you go back to your high school biology class and you've heard about mitochondria, right? The little powerhouses of the cell.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The powerhouses of the cell. So neurons and these nerve cells really have to utilize those mitochondria and the energy that gets created by those mitochondria. In doing so, when the mitochondria are active, they are producing oxidative, so stressors within the cell. And so those stressors then can build up within the cell that then essentially make the cell sick, and the cell can't deal with it anymore. And so we are trying to understand, in a disease like ALS, what specifically is happening perhaps with those mitochondria or the processes that then lead to a cell to become sick, that then leads it to die off in the disease, and then that causes those downstream changes of preventing the muscles from working properly. So we can utilize experimental models within the laboratory to try to pinpoint what aspect of a cellular process is going wrong.
Dr. Allison Ebert from the Medical College of Wisconsin with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. You know, Dr. Allison, you do a lot of research in a variety of different viruses and illnesses, and I'm glad you get paid the big bucks to say the words like what you're also working on, cytomegalovirus. Did I do that all right?
Yes, that was perfect.
You nailed it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you did.
So now, for those who don't know what cytomegalovirus is, what is it?
Well,
and
now
how
you're just
common
showing off
is it?
to say it twice. He's just showing off in here.
Now you're just showing off,
That's
right?
right.
He's a wordsmith.
Yes. So cytomegalovirus is honestly, it's a really common virus. Most people over the age of 40 have actually been exposed to the virus. And for individuals that have a functioning immune system, it's generally not a big deal. Where it comes into play is individuals that have maybe immunocompromised. So think of somebody who is potentially getting an organ transplant, right? So they would have to take immunosuppressive drugs so that their bodies don't then reject this foreign organ. Cytomegalovirus, or CMV, is a big problem in immunosuppressed individuals, and it can cause damage to other organs and tissues. Now, most people are able to take antiviral medications that will then tamp down the virus and then eliminate some of those problems. What we study in the lab is when pregnant women are infected with CMV, they can pass that virus to the developing fetus. And pregnant women can't take the antivirals because they themselves, the antivirals are actually more problematic to the developing fetus. So there's no treatment that can be given to a pregnant individual. Now, the problem is when that virus gets passed to the developing fetus, in some instances, it can then cause severe neurological deficits within that developing fetus. And so some babies that are born with CMV infection can have hearing loss or vision loss or developmental delay or seizures. And so we in the laboratory, with my colleague Dr. Hune, who is a virologist, we are studying how that virus is infecting the nervous system and what that virus is actually doing to change the cellular properties that would then lead to some of these downstream neurological problems.
It's fascinating work that you do. Now, typically, Dr. Ebert, when we have Dr. Raymond in, he ends the health briefing with his good news of the week. But I want to ask you that amongst all the other work that you are going along with your colleagues at the Neuroscience Research Center, what are you most excited about?
That is a fantastic question, and I am most excited about the collaborative environment to help push science forward. So MCW has a great collaborative network of individual researchers who are doing fantastic work, and the Neuroscience Research Center, the Wisconsin Institutes for Neurosciences here at MCW, working together at this foundational basic science level through translational levels all the way up to clinical levels. And so it's really exciting to be able to work together and help push the science forward so that we have that better understanding of what's happening in neurological diseases so that we can translate this into better therapies in the clinic.
Director of the Neuroscience Research Center at the Medical College of Wisconsin, Dr. Allison Ebert, with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Dr. Ebert, thanks for joining, and thanks for all the work that you and your colleagues do.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on.
It's 4:57 on WTMJ. Top of the hour news straight ahead.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
The village of Thiensville could see development of 80 apartments, 7,000 square feet of commercial and amenity space, and a mix of underground and surface parking. A proposal by the HIMAT Group for the project is scheduled to go before the Village Plan Commission on Tuesday. Milwaukee Repertory Theater unveils its newly renovated Associated Bank Theater Center. With $80 million in renovations and updates, the Milwaukee Rep hopes to attract high-profile productions and national tours to the city in the coming years. A Jersey Mike's Subs restaurant opens October 15th in New Berlin. The 1,700-square-foot restaurant at 3701 South Moreland Road will provide seating for 30 customers. The space was previously occupied by Bentley's Pet Stuff. I'm Linda Spice from MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report is sponsored by Horicon Bank, the natural choice, horiconbank.com.
Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business. It's WTMJ's Jeff Sherman for Horicon Bank. They've been doing banking differently since 1896. Financing requests can be approved in days, not weeks, because your banker understands you and your business. Service and products go hand in hand. They provide top-notch products to meet your cash flow needs. And Horicon Bank gets the job done. Together, doing good. That's their vision, and they're committed to doing what it takes to help your business. Horicon Bank, truly the natural choice. Member FDIC.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots? Whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. The Milwaukee Weight Loss Program has helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Our caring team at Milwaukee Weight Loss is ready to help you achieve your weight loss goals. Visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi. I dropped 40 pounds with Milwaukee Weight Loss. No crazy workouts, no meal kits or shakes, and definitely no meds or injections. They helped reset my metabolism, and the weights actually stayed off. It's been a game changer for me. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Schedule your free consultation today by calling 262-393-2334. or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Shop smarter with Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan, just a few seconds across the Wisconsin border. Award-winning, organically grown, quality products you can trust. Don't settle for knockoffs in Wisconsin. Get the real deal at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Want to save big on your next home improvement project? Visit extpros.com today for expert services at unbeatable prices.
The best team in baseball taking on the defending champs.
And the Brewers have a date with the Dodgers. Uribe deals to Carson Kelly, swinging a bouncer to short. Ortiz has it, and the Brewers are going to the championship series.
The Brewers host the Dodgers in Game 2 of the NLCS. Our radio network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. October runs through the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 5:02. I'm Adam Roberts. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. It's Tuesday, October 14th. Our top story, a deal is done, but it's not the government shutdown.
And I'm Toya Washington in for Julia Fellow. A Kenosha connection to a Massachusetts crash.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Eastbound on 94, backing up from before Highway 16, past an accident scene that is at Highway 16, off on the right shoulder. And it continues heavy all the way to about Springdale Road, more delays past Barker Road. And then from the Zoo interchange all the way to about Hawley Road, with some more delays heading out of the Stadium interchange. Now for the westbound side, you're backed up out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Heads up on the southbound side of 43, kind of heavy from just before Good Hope Road down to Bender, back on the brakes just before Capitol Drive, and that'll take you all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River crossing. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Going to be low to mid 50s tonight. We are watching for a big blob of rain moving through Wisconsin right now. Our part of the state down here in the southeast quadrant, actually looking pretty dry still. We will see some of that rain move through later. Low of 53, some rain showers on Wednesday, and a high of 60. Right now it's 59 in Milwaukee. And from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a deal is reached between Ascension, Wisconsin and United Healthcare. A multi-year agreement effective immediately will ensure individuals and families with UHC coverage can continue receiving care at Ascension, Wisconsin hospitals, clinics, and outpatient facilities in the state. This does also include patients covered under Medicare and Medicaid plans. This comes after the two sides have been engaged in a stalemate for months and failed to agree on a contract renewal by a deadline of October 1st. With the new agreement in place, any services used by patients in the period between the 1st and the 13th of this month will be covered at in-network rates.
Among the many groups of federal workers affected by the government shutdown, the country's military members are often the hardest hit. News Nation's Joe Khalil reports.
When it comes to troops getting paid, active duty military, they're going to be taking money that was passed for the DOD and shifting it so that the troops don't miss this first paycheck. They also say they're going to find extra money elsewhere in the government and use that to pay for federal law enforcement. So this doesn't mean that every single federal worker that was furloughed or that might not get a paycheck is now going to get one. There's still going to be some pain.
This is now day 14 of the government shutdown, with another Senate vote expected to fail tonight.
In Wisconsin, food share benefits could be in jeopardy if the government shutdown continues into November.
Wisconsin's SNAP and WIC programs are fully funded through October 31st. After that, over 700,000 Wisconsinites might not have access to food assistance. Now the Wisconsin Department of Health Services is asking the state legislature for $70 million to help keep the services running after funding cuts from the Trump administration's Big Beautiful Bill. They also need more staff as the department deals with more paperwork as a result of new work requirements to qualify for benefits. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
2 people died in a plane crash en route to Kenosha. The small plane crashed Monday morning on a highway in Massachusetts, bursting into flames there on impact and injuring one person there on the ground. 68-year-old Thomas Perkins and 66-year-old Agatha Perkins from Rhode Island passed away in this crash. Angel Flight of New England confirmed to WTMJ that the couple was on a personal family flight headed to Kenosha. The National Traffic Safety Board is investigating this crash.
The Milwaukee Public Schools Athletics Commissioner now out of a job.
Bobby Kelsey was hired by the district back in 2019. Under her leadership last year, the MPS Athletics Office failed to properly file paperwork with the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association for 2 football teams. This led to both Bayview and Pulaski High Schools not moving forward in the WIAA football playoffs. Former MPS Athletics Director Bill Molbeck will take over for the time being. Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
It's a battle of big pitchers tonight at AmFam. We'll have it next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 506.
Hey, John Mercure here for Annex Wealth Management. Investment and retirement planning is important, but too many people put it off. Let this be your nudge to connect with Annex Wealth Management for a no-pressure chat. Getting acquainted is simple. If it feels right, you take the next step. If you're with someone new, how about a second look at what you've got going on? If you're part of the Wisconsin Retirement System Pension Program, join Annex for a specialized webinar, Understand Your WRS Pension. It's Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30. Join Steve Scafidi and members of the Annex Financial Planning Team who have significant experience navigating WRS. More details and sign up at annexwealth.com/events. Visit annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button, and schedule your own appointment today. With branches spanning the WTMJ listening area, meeting up is easy. And their Annex Everywhere option makes virtual check-ins a breeze. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary that's Annex Wealth Management, locations throughout Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Florida, or as close as Zoom. Fee-only fiduciary all the time, it's Annex.
They saved over $50,000 after we sold their home at only 1.9%. You don't have to pay 6% to market and sell your home. Hundreds of Century 21 Benefit Realty clients will attest. You can get it all for only 1.9%. The more value your home has, the more important it is to find the best real estate commission and the marketing ability to get top dollar. And with Century 21 behind us, that's what we have. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. Half a century of marketing expertise joined with over 20 years of local market knowledge. Not to mention the savings you'll see after you get our best commission right up front, which by the way is only 1.9% on the listing side of your home. Join that together and you can be sure that you've chosen the right real estate experts who have the experience to market your home effectively and give you a commission that'll end up paying for things like new furniture. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Game 2. 2 hours, 0 minutes, and 30 seconds away at American Family Field. It's the Brewers and the Dodgers. Milwaukee in a 1-0 series hole right now after their 2-1 loss in Game 1 of the NLCS last night. It's going to be up to Freddie Peralta to get things done tonight. He's the starter. He'll go up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one of the many aces at the Dodgers' disposal. Our coverage begins right after the 6 o'clock news here on WTMJ. First pitch scheduled from the ballpark at 7:08. And one final preseason game for the Bucks tonight. They'll face the Oklahoma City Thunder at Fiserv Forum. You can catch that game over on 94.5 ESPN. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 5:09.
Get new Pella windows for the entire house as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 60 months.
Ready for the snap and a timeout taken. The team looks a little bit lost. Let's bring in Gina Della from Pella. What's the winning game plan this month?
Wayne, the winning play is simple. A whole house of new windows as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 60 months.
Wow, that's a drive you can sustain for years. No penalties, no interest. A championship move from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
No doubt, Wayne. And unlike the opponent's defense, Pella Windows actually stopped the drafts.
The draft picks we gave up for number 1 had to be the steal of the century.
True, but I'm talking about replacing old drafty windows.
Roger that. With energy-efficient windows that keep the cold out, you'll stay as toasty as a fan at a warm weather preseason game.
Pay as low as $297 a month for a whole house of new Pella windows.
Plus, with 0% interest for up to 60 months, don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Make your move today.
Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 10/31/2025. Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Adam Roberts and Toya Washington.
I'll never get used to someone else saying my name like that.
Oh, the big voice guy?
Yeah, it's just not, it's just out of the norm for me. I think maybe I should have that just when I walk into the house. Here it comes. Yes.
Toya Washington. Now batting for your Milwaukee Brewers. And speaking of Brewers, we mentioned it in sports. The countdown is on.
1 hour, 57 minutes, and 3 seconds.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Toya. I was wondering if you said earlier that you were going to get the official countdown clock on, and all the TV stations have their own. In fact, actually, Channel 12 has both the Brewers countdown clock and the government shutdown
at the same time.
How many countdown clocks can we get in?
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I want to reach out to our friends on the WTMJ Siding Unlimited talk and text line for a quick moment. We mentioned Toya earlier in the show. I was experiencing ticket price shock when I went to buy Rush concert tickets. They're playing at the United Center in Chicago. Bit of a comeback tour for the band. Guys are in their 70s, by the way. Didn't mention that before, but they're going out and touring again with a new drummer in place of Neil Peart. And I mentioned how expensive some of these tickets were going, for upwards of $300 for the worst seats at a big cavernous venue like the United Center. And WTMJ Talk and Text Line, you came through with making me feel good and not crazy for not dropping my credit card on those. We got a lot of people with their stories. From Mike and Butler, 5 years ago, I went and saw the Chili Peppers at Soldier Field, Paid about $700 for 2 tickets.
Oh my
Seats were farther back than expected. Sound system was awful. Parking was $45. Never again. No matter how much I love a band or musician, I'll never pay that much money. From Dwayne from Jackson. Dan in Florida chiming in with a little bit of a throwback. Saw Rush on the 2112 tour in the late 70s at the Madison Coliseum. So I'm going to guess how much in 1976 do you think these tickets went for at the Coliseum in Madison?
$27.95.
$7.50.
Oh my God.
That's minimum wage, I believe, in the year of our Lord 2025 now. But that could get you a ticket to the Rush 2112 tour. From the 414, dropped $400 on 2 Adam Sandler tickets, and I love the description here from our friend in the 414.
Oh boy.
Dropped the money on the tickets to watch a big screen and sit next to a man with his arms crossed the whole time. Definitely would have had a better experience watching it at home, dining on a Wagyu steak and lobster. The fees are insane. Heard that and saw that from our dear friends at Ticketmaster.
Yes.
So thank you, Talk and Text Line, for coming through. I knew you would. I knew that our WTMJ fans would do that because I'm not crazy. $300 for a show of guys who, as much as I love, are well past the prime.
Yes.
For seats where you could throw a rock and wouldn't even hit like the floor level is insane.
Now, and I can't even imagine, and I would have to go back and look. I know I had a text exchange with a bunch of friends when Beyonce was on tour.
That's an A-lister.
Yes, and that was definitely one where I was like, I wouldn't even entertain it. I wouldn't even entertain it. There's no way. Like, I'll wait till there's the HBO special so I can watch the behind the scenes, behind stage, and all that stuff.
You know what this makes me think also? How grateful we should be that we have something like Summerfest. I know people get all in the weeds about, oh, it's 9 days now. It used to be 11. Now it's 3 weekends, and it's Thursday through Saturday. Vince always says in the newsroom, if you paid money to get into Summerfest, you just didn't try hard enough. You can basically find any way in the book to get in there for free and see so many different bands.
Yes.
The amphitheater is going to cost you a little more, but still, you can see Billy Corgan from the Pumpkins for free on a Thursday night.
One of my favorite shows ever at Summerfest was seeing Prince at Summerfest in the amphitheater. And I mean, I've saw him several locations over the years. And other than First Avenue, that is Summerfest grounds was one of my favorite venues to watch and one of the best shows I've seen him perform. I saw him perform.
Interesting other nugget from the 414. So the Snakes and Arrows tour was a Rush tour from, I think, 2008. Ticket comparison when they played at the amphitheater here in Milwaukee, $27, $37, and $47 packages. And now we're sitting at $300 not even 20 years later, and it's not even the full lineup.
Chiming in to say the Snakes and Arrows tour was my first concert ever. I was 9 years old.
All right, we didn't need the 9 years old part. You turn off your mic. No one wants to hear from you.
Oh, that's rude. We love Isaac. We love Isaac. All right.
We do.
5:15 on WTMJ. You know who else we love, Toya?
Uh-oh.
That's our CBS chief Washington correspondent, Major Garrett. I'd be curious to see how much he paid for his first big arena show. We might ask him when he joins us next.
4 years ago, I opened a doggy dream space unlike anything in Wisconsin. A place that offers it all: daycare, boarding, grooming, and a one-of-a-kind indoor-outdoor dog park and tavern. A hangout as fun for humans as it is for hounds. I'm Leah, proud owner of the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. Our love, passion, and commitment to dogs and the community are at the core of everything we do. From our incredible staff to top-tier services, we've built something truly special at the Hounds and Tap. Come see for yourself. Visit the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls today.
John Mercure here for Men's Studios. At Men's Studios, it's long-term wellness is the goal. You're going to feel great when you've been at that massage, when you get one of their 11 customizable treatments. You're also going to feel it long-term. You're going to be able to play with your grandkids, golf, do the things you want to do pain-free. That's the goal at Men. Not just get you out of the crisis state, but get you into a state where you feel good all the time. They've got 2 locations. They customize everything. Check out the website, menstudio.com. I've been in the studios. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're nurturing. They're going to take care of you. Men's Studio.
Traffic is sponsored by Richlands Tire and Service Center.
Richlands Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlands.com when you're due for service.
It's 5:16 on WTMJ. Let's get a look at the roads with Debbie Lazaga. A lot of people very curious about the freeway system right now.
Right now, northbound 4394, not looking too bad. We're looking actually pretty clear all the way into the Marquette. Where you do slow down is heading westbound on 94. It's going to be slow all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. Beyond that, you're good to go all the way into Waukesha County. On the eastbound side, we've got a couple of areas of big delays. We've first of all got the delays in Waukesha County from almost, that is Meadowbrook Road, all the way past Highway 16 to about Barker Road. We do have that accident right about at Highway 16 off on the right shoulder. And then more delays just inside the Milwaukee-Waukesha County line, and those delays stretch all the way to about Hawley Road, and a few more taps of the brakes heading out of the stadium interchange. So that'll get you to AmFam Field there. Southbound on 43, we are seeing delays from just before Good Hope Road down towards Bender Road. Back on the brakes from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette to the KK River. Southbound 41 backing up from before the county line at just before Good Hope Road, and that'll take you slowing all the way down past Hampton. Beyond that, you're good to go into the Zoo interchange. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ forecast is brought to you by Sweet Talks Med Spa. Your goals are our goals. Going to be a cloudy one for you if you're heading out to the ballpark tonight. A lot of the rain we've been following is north of Milwaukee, and anything that was now east of Madison's largely dissipated, honestly. We're looking pretty dry. Going to be in the low to mid 50s for the low tonight. More clouds for your Wednesday, upper 50s to around 60s, 61 Thursday, close to 70 on Friday, and maybe 71 by the time we get to Saturday. Right now it's 58 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 518. Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast sponsored by our friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. Your comfort is their family's tradition. And speaking of traditions, it's Tuesday, just after 5:15. That means it's time to check in with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent. He's the author of The Big Truth and hosts the Takeout podcast. He is Major Garrett. Major, we got a lot of things I want to get to you here while we've got you, but I do have to ask, can you recall your first big concert, your first big arena show, big show where the whole place was packed? Do you remember what it was, and do you remember what you paid for it?
So this would have been in, I think, the fall, brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen, of 1987. Brace yourself. I'm not even sure Isaac's parents were born yet. That would have been the fall of 1987, Las Vegas, Nevada, Thomas and Mack Center. It was a Billy Joel concert. I had on-the-floor tickets, and I don't think I paid even $40 for them.
Ooh, on the floor for Billy Joel, too.
So, wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
It was a great show. Fantastic show.
See, and I'm right there, 1987, 80s.
So I bring this up, as you may have heard, Major, before you came on. So Rush is doing a reunion kind of sort of tour. They've been off for about 10 years. They're going to be touring the country. They're coming to Chicago, and when I went on the pre-sale to buy the tickets, $300 minimum for the nosebleeds. And thankfully, our fans have come through and said, good you didn't buy them because that's a little crazy.
Yes, that is crazy. And just speaking of rock bands reviving themselves or going on another tour, when I was in college at the University of Missouri in the winter of 1978, I went to the very first end of era tour for the Who. Their farewell, their first of I think their 15 farewell tours. That was the first. And that was in the Kiel Center in St. Louis. And again, that was probably not even $30 for those seats. But I think the Who's had 10 or 12 farewell tours since then. But that was the first.
See, now I'm sorry, we should probably go on to news, but I will say I'm always leery about the farewell tour. But I will tell you, I am still kicking myself. Tina Turner said, "This is the last and final. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm done." And she went on tour, and I was like, "Yeah, she'll come back." No, she has not. Yep, did not. So yes,
That's
still.
sort of a hazard. You don't know when they're serious.
Yes, so that's why I'm like, you know what? I don't play with that anymore.
Too many kisses in the world. It's just, you never really believe what you hear anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He is Major Garrett, and he does have good stuff to talk about on the news cycle as well. And I want to start, Major, with, as someone who has an eye on all things Washington, we are, of course, now in the second week, 14th day of this government shutdown. There's a vote tonight. No indication that there's going to be any actual progression on this. How are things shaken out on the Capitol?
They're just static. And I think the country better wrap its head around the very real prospect that this shutdown could last the entire month of October. the president allowed as much in his remarks this afternoon in the cabinet room when asked by reporters if he was preparing for something of that length. And he's like, look, what the Democrats are asking for, we're not going to talk about and we're not going to engage with, and we're prepared to, and these are the president's words, cut or permanently eliminate Democrat programs and keep the ones, again, I'm quoting the president here, that we like, that we believe work, and we're going to get rid of things that are Democrat programs. And the Office of Management and Budget has set that in motion with reductions in forces. These are not furloughs. A furlough means you don't come to work, but you'll eventually be paid when the shutdown is over. That's not what we're talking about. A reduction in force means in 60 days, the job you currently have will no longer exist and you will be unemployed. And 4,000 of those notices have already gone out and more are to come, according to the Trump administration. So not only is this shutdown projected, by the words of the president and congressional Democrats, to keep going, but the number of layoffs will keep increasing.
One of the other things that I've been following today, Major, is this mandate or pledge from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who he has put out to members of the media that want access to Pentagon briefings. And the list of outlets that is refusing to sign it is growing and growing every single day. I think there's only been one that's actually put pen to paper on this, but realistically, and I've talked with reporters on the White House Correspondents Group and who are in that press room at the Pentagon and at the White House, is it possible that they could come together as a group of people, a group of reporters, and just walk out and refuse to attend any of these briefings? Is that something they could feasibly do?
Well, what's going to happen starting tomorrow is they will all be kicked out, and they will have to surrender their press passes, which means you cannot get into the building. That's all going to happen tomorrow for any news organization that will not sign this pledge to essentially accept handouts from the Pentagon with no questions asked. That's what the basic real-world consequence of this policy is. If you don't agree to take Pentagon handouts as written and as the only thing that you can report from the Pentagon, then you have to give up your press pass. Well, no reporter is going to agree to that. The people who cover the city hall in Milwaukee wouldn't agree to that to the mayor or the county government or the governor. Accepting press releases as written and asking no follow-up questions and not checking the facts yourself or reporting from sources that have a different point of view or who are in the government who believe that sanitized version of events may not be the truthful representation, that's what reporters do. And yes, as the president said today, reporters are disruptive. Hello, yes, we're always disruptive. People in power don't like to be disrupted. They don't like their official version of events to be questioned. That's what reporters on every beat does, whether it's Capitol Hill, the Pentagon, or the White House.
I guess
so this limitation means if you don't agree to this Pentagon policy, you have to surrender your press pass. You cannot enter the building and whatever office you have. CBS News has had an office reporting from the Pentagon since World War II. We will lose it tomorrow because we're not agreeing.
And I guess, obviously, with what you're saying, we hear, obviously, the passion. And you're right. As someone who is, who will live and die with the journalistic code, how do we get this point across as journalists to the greater public about how serious and detrimental this is in our country?
It's a very hard thing to do because there is a sense that journalism doesn't get at the truth, doesn't reveal things that are important that people in power would otherwise like to keep hidden. There is a sense that journalism has become a captive ideologically of the right or the left, depending on your perspective, that it has lost its sense of objectivity. You see that in polling data about the credibility of the media. It has gone down with independent voters in America. It's gone down with Democratic voters in America. It's gone down with Republican voters in America. And that trend line has basically been on the downward trajectory since the mid to late 1990s. I've given a lot of thought to why that's happened. There's a lot of answers to that, but the fact is that it's happened. And in that atmosphere of skepticism, if not hostility to what the news media does and what journalists try to defend, there are less and less average Americans who are willing to stand up and say, my gosh, we have to defend that, as there were in the 70s and the 60s when there were plenty of efforts within the government to suppress the media and to penalize us or to have an enemies list as the Nixon administration did and other threats to the public press. There was much more inclination in the country back then to say, no, the press matters. It is exposing things that we want to know about, and we're better off knowing about them. So what's going to have to happen is the Pentagon is going to have to be caught in a series of some kind of lies. I don't know when or how that will happen. There are plenty of people who would say, looking back on the Iraq War, that the Pentagon press corps that was covering that wasn't skeptical enough, wasn't hard enough, didn't ask the right questions. There's a very legitimate debate about that. So there are those who would say, well, you had plenty of access back then and you still missed the story. So how much does access really matter? Maybe you were captives of the Pentagon. Maybe you were too close to that institution. So there's a lot of layers to this. I cannot peel every layer back. But I will say a free press matters because a free press asks questions people would rather not have asked. And if you live in a world where the only questions that are asked and answered are the most comfortable ones, you will live in a world that doesn't tell you the truth.
CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett with us on WTMJ. Always appreciate your insight, Major. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's 528. We'll get your markets here quickly. The Annex Wealth Management market update. Mixed bag for the majors. The Dow up 202 points, 46,270. The NASDAQ off 173 at 22,522. And the S&P 500 down 10 on the day, finishing at 6,644. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Bottom of the hour news straight ahead.
This week on What's on Tap with Sandy Max, discover why St. Kate, the Arts Hotel, is the perfect stop before or after your next concert, play, or performance. We're joined by Chris Schiefelbein, St. Kate's food and beverage manager, to talk about the brand new studio kitchen and creative cocktails that celebrate the arts. Whether you're meeting friends before the show or winding down after, St. Kate's bars and restaurants are the place to be. Running late? Grab pizza or sushi ready in minutes. Get acquainted with creativity. Learn more at stkatearts.com.
Save big money on your bathroom update at Menards. Transform your bathroom with a stunning new vanity from Magic Woods. With over 100 options to choose from, our vanities combine contemporary style with durable materials. Find the ideal piece to create the bathroom you've always wanted. From stylish and elegant to simple and modern. Save big money on Magic Woods vanities at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all our great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. And joining me today is Jeff Salazinski. He's Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, want to talk about employee benefits today. R&R Insurance provides employee benefits for all of us here at Good Karma Brands, and it's a great program. So companies are fast approaching open enrollment for their workforces. So let's hear some good advice for a business owner on that topic.
Thank you, Vince. Employee benefits are a company's second or third largest expense. Businesses need to know how to use their employee benefit program as a tool to attract and retain the best employees. Benefit understood is a benefit appreciated. This means it's critical to know how best to communicate your company's employee benefits program. The right messaging will help employees understand their options and guide their decision-making. It'll also increase their sense of value and engagement. Employees will be more inclined to participate and see it as a part of their total compensation program.
Jeff, what impact then does a great employee benefits package, for example, have on a candidate's decision to join or not join that company?
It has a huge impact. Numerous studies indicate that in today's environment, new hires more frequently select the employer with the best overall employee benefits package and a vibrant company culture.
So, Jeff, why R&R Insurance?
Because at R&R Insurance, we help employers brand their benefit package in a customized, easy-to-understand fashion, taking out the complex and confusing nature of shopping for health insurance. More importantly, we'll manage and provide as much support as you need for your open enrollment and beyond. With our latest mobile technology, your employees will have easy, immediate access to benefits information for themselves and their families 24/7.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry. I love Guthrie and Fry. I've got their water softener, the salt delivered right to the basement. Their RO system, which filters the water in our house. What we drink, what we cook with is crisp, clean, clear. It's Guthrie and Fry water conditionings, the best in the business. They also provide well pump system service, routine service, and emergency service for when you need it. They've been doing that since 1974. At Guthrie and Fry, they know that better water makes a big difference. The teams I trust are at Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of the Neal Group and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. So you filed your return and owe the IRS money you can't pay, or you haven't filed for years because you are afraid you will owe the IRS. Whether it is income taxes, payroll taxes, or sales tax, we can help. Often we can file back tax returns and get your refund. We negotiate payment plans with the IRS or settle with the IRS for sometimes pennies on the dollar. We get the interest and penalties reduced, which are many times greater than the original tax owed because so much time has passed. Stop the sleepless nights and worrying they will wipe out your bank account and garnish your wages. Your situation will not go away if you bury your head in the sand. The first meeting is free. Call now, 414-325-2040 or visit neilgroup.net. You earned it. We help you keep it. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Traffic is sponsored by Flanders Home Entertainment, Flanders.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Adam Roberts. Your top story, another move to stop reckless driving.
And I'm Toya Washington. What about paying troops?
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Hey, no more accidents. All right. We just have delays to deal with. Southbound 41 slowing from the county line to past Good Hope Road all the way down to Capitol. On the northbound side, slowing from Mayfair Road all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound 43 heavy from just before Good Hope Road down to Bender Road, back on the brakes before Capitol Drive. And that'll take you all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River crossing. Northbound side of 43, we are seeing delays coming from Kilbourne all the way up past Locust. Westbound 94 delays out of the Marquette all the way into the Stadium interchange. Eastbound is going to be backed up from about Sunny Slope Road all the way through the Zoo interchange to about Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Possible showers overnight, low of 53. Morning rain on your Wednesday, then clouds and a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a new law moving forward in Wisconsin would curb reckless driving, or at least aim to do so. The state legislature approving today separate Senate and Assembly measures that would allow police to impound any vehicles used in reckless driving offenses, regardless of who owns the car. The owner will have 90 days under the proposal to pay any fines and pick up the vehicle before it's destroyed. Police would also make an attempt to contact a car's owner if it turns out to be lost or stolen. The legislation has strong bipartisan support and now heads to Governor Evers' desk for approval.
Some military vets are expressing concern over troops getting paid despite President Trump's promise to make that happen.
Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America are calling on Congress to pay the troops and protect service members amid the shutdown. Tom Porter is with Blue Star Families and says many already live paycheck to paycheck.
Missing a payday means missing rent, missing meals, missing doctor's visits.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says troops and federal workers should be paid and lawmakers need to work to reopen the government. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
The Pentagon is using $8 billion in unobligated research and development funds to ensure troops are paid tomorrow as scheduled.
Hamas releasing 20 living and 4 deceased hostages as part of ceasefire agreements with Israel, but the Israelis are still waiting on the release of 24 more deceased hostages. News Nation's Robert Sherman.
We just heard from the IDF a few minutes ago, who says that they received word from the Red Cross that they're on their way to collect coffins in northern Gaza containing the remains of Israeli hostages. It is not a number that they have publicly described as to exactly how many there are. This is becoming a bigger deal on the ground, though, because Hamas said that they were in possession of 28 hostage remains, and they were supposed to give them back yesterday. Well, they've only returned 4.
Israel plans to cut aid in half to Gaza because of Hamas's slower than expected release of those deceased hostages.
A man connected to the case of Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan pleads no contest in a separate domestic violence case.
Eduardo Flores Ruiz entered an Alfred plea and was found guilty on 1 count of battery with 2 other battery charges dropped. He was sentenced to 195 days with credit for time served. Flores Ruiz previously pleaded guilty to illegally re-entering the U.S. and is expected to remain in federal custody until he's deported. Judge Dugan is accused of obstructing federal ICE agents from arresting Flores Ruiz outside her Milwaukee courtroom back in April. Dugan heads to trial in December. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Game 2 coming up quick here. 7:08 first pitch from American Family Field. It's the Brewers and the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. Milwaukee in a 1-0 hole after their loss to L.A. on Monday night. Manager Pat Murphy, though, says the team's developed a resiliency trait over the season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the guys know that that's who we are. You know, we're in this position because we've had that trait of being able to be resilient and never stop. So, yeah, I think it does. I think it adds to the game today. Yeah, I think
Freddie Peralta takes the mound with Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the other side for L.A. Our coverage begins after the 6 o'clock news on WTMJ. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Times, 5:38.
We're still rolling out the fun at Fleet Farm's Oktoberfest. Stop in for a free brat Saturday the 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. While you're there, be sure to enter our Candy Corn Count contest for a chance to win a Fleet Farm gift card. Plus, don't miss our Truckload Super Sale, happening October 16th through the 19th. We've got crazy good deals in-store only, so bring your own truck and load up. Come on in for October festivities all month long at Fleet Farm. And thanks for shopping with us.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scafidi here. Are you a member of the State of Wisconsin Pension Program? If so, you may have questions about your benefits and what they mean to your retirement plan. Join me along with Annex Wealth Management Director of Financial Planning Eric Strom and Senior Financial Planner Tom Burkholz on October 21st at 3:30 p.m. We'll discuss fundamentals, like how to look at your statement, and go deeper looking at case studies that may help relieve concerns and answer your questions about WRS. That's Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Register now. Visit WTMJ.com or events at annexwealth.com.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News on WTMJ.
Brewers Dodgers just about an hour and a half away. A lot of people with their eyes on the skies are bringing in Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Niznansky. Hey, Niz, I'll tell you what. Sure is a good thing the Brewers don't play in Hayward right now because there's a big old blob up in northwest Wisconsin. Dry here so far, though.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sure many of your listeners right now are, looking at their radars on their phones, and they're thinking it doesn't look great. However, I honestly think if you are, heading to the stadium right now, you want to get in a quick tailgate, I think you will be dry for the tailgate. It's probably going to be dry here in Milwaukee for at least a few hours besides just a stray sprinkle. Most of the action you see on the radar to our north, and it will stay to the north for at least a few hours.
All right. And then temperature-wise, I think this has got to be crazy talk. Am I really hearing 70s over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're sitting in our upper 50s to around 60, a little bit more typical October. But yeah, it looks like another surge of warm weather. By Friday, we could be up to 72 for a high. Saturday's still going 70, but Saturday looks like there's more of a threat of it being a soggy day. So maybe kind of a rainy, windy 70 degrees for Saturday. But yeah, a 70 not out of question. Maybe 2 days, Friday and into Saturday.
That's a tough 70-degree day, though, when it's rainy and then it's all stuck on your skin and then your clothes stick. It's just a bad rain. I love a rain when it's like about 58 to 60 degrees. Nice cool rain if you're going out for a run or something like that, because I hear people run sometimes. I wouldn't know.
This from the person who bikes. Come on.
And swims in the lake. So I wouldn't know about running. But yeah, I think 70 degrees and rain, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, we'll see. Some computer models are a little drier than others. We'll see what happens on Saturday, but right now it's definitely looking like it would be on the rainier side for us on Saturday. So we'll keep that in mind for your weekend plans. I guess the immediate focus for tonight, I'm looking at the roof. It's closed for now. Back panels are closed. Maybe that has more to do with the cooler temperatures versus the rainfall at this point.
Now, Niz, you've been to many a Brewer game. When you're inside the shell, the turtle shell, as I like to call it, when everything is closed, it's a sauna in there. And thankfully, they had those panels open last night for Game 1. So that's good to know. I hadn't seen the back end of the stadium yet. Good to see that will be the case.
Yeah, so for tonight, though, it does look like the panels right now are closed as we look at our Skycam. Yeah, so who knows if they'll open them back up once the stadium fills up. Things get to be a little bit warmer in there, but we're down to 57 degrees right now at the station. So, again, maybe they close those panels up because it might be getting a little too cool, and who knows when they open things back up. Oh, I don't care. Panels open, not open, roof open, not open. I don't care as long as we get a Brewers win tonight.
Amen.
Is really all that matters. And Freddie's due, so I know he's going up against a guy we ran in 2/3 of an inning the last time we played him. So the blueprint's right there, fellas. Let's just get this done.
Sure. We got a much better chance tonight versus Snell because he was lights out last night. There was nothing stopping him. Glad he can't go back-to-back.
I was saying, it's not like 1908 when Cy Young could throw 4 or 5 games in a best of 9, because that was a thing that existed. Now, Snell will maybe throw another game in this series, and that's probably it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
let's hope so. That was tough to watch. But, hey, Brewers still fought to the very end, and hopefully tonight we get some runs on the board right away.
All right, Niz, thanks for the check-in.
Okay, guys, we'll see you.
It's 5:43 on WTMJ. Rolling along here as we get you up into first pitch. By the way, we will have your coverage for you here on WTMJ right after the 6 o'clock news. We got our guy Dom Catronio. Hot demand for the operator of the swag machine or whatever he calls his van.
The Swaggin' Wagon.
The Swaggin' Wagon, that's right. Yeah, he's a busy guy out there getting ready for the pre- and post-game. He's got a lot of hats he's wearing. He's one of the best in the biz, and he'll have it for you right after our 6 o'clock news and walking you right up to first pitch at 7:08. You do still have...
Which is 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 58 seconds away.
That's fantastic. That you just I pointed, and you knew exactly what I wanted.
I knew what you meant. immediately.
It's 5:44 on WTMJ. Debbie helps you get you home or to the ballpark up next.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
It's Beatlemania. 1, 2, 3, 4. Experience the Fab Four as they perform music from their film Help, plus a set of their greatest hits live at Milwaukee's Pabst Theater on Friday, November 7th. Relive some of the greatest songs ever written.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
The Fab Four, the ultimate Beatles tribute, live at the Pabst Theater November 7th. Tickets at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Pizza made with pride. That's what you'll get here. With a sauce recipe over 60 years in existence that we're not changing for the world. And we just can't get ourselves to skimp. So we still use only the highest quality ingredients, like our house recipe Italian sausage and our original thin crust dough that's made fresh daily and never frozen. And of course, always 100% real mozzarella cheese. You can't beat that or a Marty's Pizza.
Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past.
Traffic is sponsored by Rejuvenix Arthritis Pain Clinics. Go to rejuvenix.com for an appointment.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
It's 5:47 on the dot on WTMJ. Debbie helps get you home or maybe to the ballpark. Right now, Deb, I'm looking at 94 East, right through the zoo, a big old line of red. Are you seeing that too?
Yep, big old line. Yeah, we've got delays basically starting from about Meadowbrook Road all the way through the Barker Road area to about Calhoun, only to start slowing down again just before Sunny Slope Road through the zoo interchange to about Hawley Road. Yeah, kind of a slow ride. On the westbound side, we got backups out of the Marquette past 27th Street. Beyond that, you're good to go. Southbound on 43, also going to be heavy from before Good Hope Road down to Bender, back on the brakes from Hampton, down past North Avenue and into the Marquette. More delays on 4394 southbound, but those don't start until you get off of the high-rise bridge and then take you all the way down to the KK River. On the northbound side of 43, backing up from about from the Kilbourne Avenue tunnels all the way up to about Locust. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Adam Roberts, Toya Washington with you on a Tuesday. And a big Tuesday if you have United Healthcare and your primary hospital, clinic, or outpatient facility is any Ascension, Wisconsin location. Seems like we were going on for months and months, Toya, of
Really
this back
did.
and forth between these two that kind of played out in the weeds, I think, initially.
Yeah.
And then as we see, once deadline day nears for a contract, this really started to come to light.
Yeah, and I think most people, when it's the topic like this, it's kind of over their head, and it's it's just kind of this bubble out there, and until the bubble bursts, like you said, until the deadline comes up, then it becomes serious, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen now?
And then we hear in the newsroom, why didn't I hear about this a month ago? And we'll say, well, we did talk about it a month ago.
Yes.
Anyway, bag rapes aside, let's dive into some of the details on this. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, United Healthcare and Ascension, Wisconsin have been embroiled in a contract negotiation. They do this every roughly 3 years or so. Just like anyone, you got to have a contract agreement, especially when you're making the kind of money that these two organizations do, billions and billions of dollars. So that multi-year agreement had expired at the end of September. And when that deadline came and went on October 1st, they didn't have an agreement. And so Ascension, Wisconsin and United Healthcare went out of network, which meant if you used UHC, which in a disclaimer, United Healthcare is our insurance provider here at Good Karma Brands and WTMJ, Ascension, Wisconsin and your primary care provider was out of network. You could still go, but you're going to be paying a lot more money.
It's a lot different.
And we say a lot more, like the difference in often cases with in-network versus out-of-network, when you go through your yearly review during open enrollment, it's pretty significant.
It is. And it always feels like those goalposts are moving in the first place when it comes to insurance, whether it's, United or any other carrier. It always seems like it's a game, but paying very close attention to this because so much of it is very, very local for this state.
And we'll have more on those. I'll have more on those costs in just a moment. But the big news today, of course, is that agreement was reached. And so, as you heard in the 3 o'clock news earlier, that means that now everything is simpatico. We're back in network. You can go to your provider. It will be at in-network costs. And importantly, Ascension spokesperson did say over, and we had it in the story, that if you used any services during that window where there was no agreement,
the 1st and the 13th,
that will be covered at in-network rates. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, when I'm watching all of this go down, Toya, just as an aside note, I will readily admit a lot of insurance jargon goes right over my head.
It does for most, I think.
And it's it almost feels like it's designed that way to make you just kind of wave it off and like, whatever, I just want to have insurance.
Yes.
So I have a dog at home, and pet insurance and medical insurance, very different walks of life.
Yeah.
But I definitely signed up for just the first one that I saw just so that I had it and could put it on my lease and say, hey, my pet is insured. And I'm finding kind of maybe that wasn't the best choice. But for a lot of people with your personal insurance, it's often through your work provider, whatever your employer chooses to do. Like for us, it's United Healthcare. So that leads to around 200,000 patients who attend Ascension, Wisconsin services in our area, just in southeast Wisconsin. Kind of they were left in the dark for a while.
Yeah.
And as someone who has darted around with primary care providers, I moved from La Crosse to Milwaukee and had to go through the rigmarole like you do when you move anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's a headache and a half.
It is. It really is. I mean, just first of all, finding a doctor that not just in network, but one that's available. I mean, that's always been my struggle where it's like, I'll have a primary care doctor. This is just my luck and I shouldn't even speak it into existence, but it feels like I have one for about 3 years, and then either they move out of state and then I need to search for another doctor again. And then it's just like, okay, well, I'm getting recommendations from friends. Oh, I love this doctor. I love this. Well, they're not in network. They're on a network.
And
Like,
there's also the angle of when you have children, because
that's a
you
whole
want
nother layer.
pediatricians all in that same umbrella too. So as someone who doesn't have a child yet, I can only imagine.
Yeah, that is another struggle. And then, the older they get, I mean, most people, when they have a child, their initial pediatrician, who when they're just little itty bitty squishy babies, most people, you become attached to that person and you want, their baby's attached to that person. And so you try to keep them for years. But again, you have, we moved from Wauwatosa out to the Pewaukee area and it was like, well, this is ridiculous. Should I be driving my kids all the way in for, a checkup, then searching again, another doctor, making sure they're in network, jumping through all those hoops.
And we saw a lot of those patients, those 200,000 I mentioned, that were having to make that choice of, do I hold out? Do I wait for all of this to blow over, which it now has? But there were a lot of other hospital orgs around the area that were mentioning, we're seeing an uptick in people trying to schedule that first intake exam.
And then you have to question what happens if you're like mid-treatment for something that, like if you had, whether it's, I don't know, treatment for cancer and then you have...
I do think there was continuity of care that was baked into this. So if you were already receiving treatment for something like you mentioned, or for pregnancy, you were still going to get the same rates. That wasn't going to change. And I think there's actually federal laws also that play into that as well. Back onto the costs, though, because that's going to be the good question is, okay, how does the money factor in now? Because the agreement's been reached, but that does mean we're still likely going to see, if you or I or anyone who's shopping around for insurance when open enrollment comes, I believe it's November 1st when it starts for most people. So that's a couple weeks from now. I spoke when this was all going down with a professor at UW-Milwaukee. His name's Scott Adams. He's an economics professor, but he's got a background in health economics. And he told me at the time, no matter when this deal gets reached, there's a couple of things that's likely to happen.
Probably the end result of this will be a deal and higher premiums. I mean, and that's kind of where we're headed in all of these deals that we've seen in other states.
So this feels to me a lot like back in the 90s when baseball went on strike and it was the millionaires versus billionaires and the fans were left with no baseball. Here it's the billionaires and the billionaires, and the customer will be left with those higher premiums no matter what, it seems. The other thing, though, as I mentioned, open enrollment that Scott mentioned, is that in any of these cases, you can find some silver lining.
If there's a silver lining to any of this, if it's causing some consumers to look for better arrangements for their health care, there may be some out there for them that is perhaps more stable. My advice would be to hold tight, that these things happen frequently. They almost always work out. Probably the end result of this will be a deal and higher premiums. I mean, and that's kind of where we're headed in all of these deals that we've seen in other states.
Again, that UW-Milwaukee economics professor, Scott Adams, who I spoke with a couple of weeks ago, right on deadline day, actually, was when we talked. So he was a man in demand that day, if I recall. But again, the big news today, the Ascension UHC agreement has been reached, and so everything is back in network until we get 3 years from now, and likely we might go through all of this again.
And then don't make it 3 years from now when people are like, wait, how did we just hear about this just now? We've been telling you, now we're set an alarm on your phone 2.5 years from now.
Can you set an iPhone alarm for 2-3 years into the future?
You can set in your calendar reminder, and then it'll pop up. So so there's your alarm. So pay attention 2 years, 2.5 years from now.
All right, all eyes on the end of 2028. It's 5:56 on WTMJ. We're walking you up to Brewers baseball after the 6 o'clock news. Brewers in that 1-0 series hole. Again, Freddie Peralta is on the mound tonight. Had a good start earlier in the postseason, not so much his rout against the Cubs, but we'll hope for good things tonight. Yoshiniro Yamamoto is a tough ask to go against, and Blake Snell did not put us in a good spot last night, but I expect that shell to be packed tonight to the brim. We had 43,000 some odd on a Monday.
On a Monday.
And we'll get that on
a school
Tuesday.
night.
A school night of all nights.
Yes, a school night.
5:56 on WTMJ. Got the news coming up.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee.